Welcome to America's Day at the Races on an absolutely gorgeous night. But where is that? That is, of course, Toronto, Canada, where the World Series is being held between a really nice matchup between a couple good teams, the Dodgers and the Blue Jays, but we've got some great racing action coming your way. Chris Griffin joined by Paul Verderosa, and on what is a huge night, really in Canada, we're going to be headed to Campbellville, Ontario, of course, because it's Woodbine Mohawk. And what night is it? It's Breeders' Crown night. Not only one night, but 2 nights of terrific racing, 12 Grade 1 races, $7 million in purses, and all those good superstars that we've seen throughout the year here for Standardbreds. Paul, it's a great night. How excited are you for it? Breeders' Crown, here we are.
I'm extremely excited to see this go down tonight because, as we always say, it all comes down to the crown for Breeders' Crown, and for a various amount of reasons. First of all, you got to talk about the breeders, number one, because it's about the breeders and the owners and the visibility that they get with the stock that they have. You go for those big, lucrative purses, and that's something that you can never, ever shy away from. And honestly, it's just the visibility of the sport to a worldwide audience, you know? And anytime you can get good visibility in this sport, it's always a positive thing.
Plenty of visibility, and thanks for joining us wherever you are. We've got so many races. Let's take a look at Friday's schedule because it's all about the 2-year-olds, of course. We got the 2-year-old filly Trot, the 2-year-old filly Pace, the Colts and Geldings in a Trot and a Pace. So 4 Grade 1s, taking a look at the Breeders' Crown races for the 2-year-olds here tonight. Again, it's at Woodbine Mohawk, so we're really looking forward to just how things are going to pan out, but those are going to be a little bit later on the card here tonight as we take a look at this Colts and Gelding Trot. That Grade 1, 1 mile, of course, the distance. And you see on this list, Diabolic Hill, the number 3, Todd McCarthy will be driving 9 to 5 currently on that morning line.
Yeah, you know, that was about as an easy of a win as you're going to see for a horse from the half-mile home. And, you know, you got to give all the credit to trainer Annie Stowe because she's done such a tremendous job managing him, giving him the time off when he's needed a little bit of a break to get him to be at his best when needed. He is a solid contender tonight. And things changed a little bit in this race with a scratch of a horse who probably would have took some money, but make no mistake about it, he was on his game 100%, and it showed in this spot. He's a real contender to get her a Breeders' Crown tonight.
There was Diabolic Hill, of course, taking a look at the Annie Stowe trainee, and yeah, you're looking forward to a lot of smiles there at Woodbine Mohawk tonight because if you win one of those big races here tonight and tomorrow, plenty of action and celebration in the winner's circle.
Yeah, and it's competitive, you know, because you've got the best of the best going at it. You've got horses that have some long winning streaks this year and some horses that kind of stubbed their toe a little bit going in and looking for some redemption. Field
of 10 that's going to go that 1 mile. And again, you take a look at the big purse money here tonight. We're really looking forward to these great matchups. Dexter Dunn, a name that we know, he's going to be driving the number 1 in Apex, does get that inside draw. What do you think about this effort? This is back on September 20th.
Oh, this spot here was a new Canadian record in this victory. And, you know, for a horse that has kind of had some ups and downs, he had the little time off this big effort in this spot, and he came back and he qualified, and he showed that he is still as sharp as ever with that qualifying effort. Listen, on paper, he certainly stands out in here with what he's done. He's probably going to be a short price in here. I'm going to take my chances, though, that he can be beat tonight at short odds. We'll see what happens. He may make a liar out of me. Wouldn't be the first time, but I'm excited to see the matchup between these two and another horse that's going to be in between them in Spencer Hanover.
Yeah, taking a look at that race. It's going to be race number 8 later on in the card tonight, but we can't do it alone, and I think they got the frequent flyer marbles, maybe those first-class flights, I'm sure, as they headed out to Campbellville, Ontario, but of course we can't do it alone. Jessica Otten, Gabe Pruitt, great to see you guys tonight, and glad you guys are trackside there, right there at Woodbine Mohawk. Looks like an exciting night tonight and also tomorrow.
Oh, it is definitely an exciting weekend ahead of us, Gabe. Your first time here, but it's a great atmosphere, great fan experience, and a great environment overall.
It really is. Just about 40 miles from downtown Toronto, again, Electric City tonight, of course, as you guys mentioned, with that World Series. But it's an electric night on track here. Again, those 2-year-olds, big money on the line, some of the true superstars of the sport of harness racing.
Yeah, of course. Trainer Ron Burke's going to send out 18 over the course of the weekend. And the first one that we're going to kind of highlight, that's Lua Deepa. Gabe, she was sensational in that lone Breeders' Crown elimination last week for those 2-year-old pacing fillies. Driver Ronnie Wren Jr. had to make about 3 moves before the half, but she handled it like a pro. She loves Canadian soil, and she's been on top of her game as of late.
And she was moving like a machine here. You just see her start to accelerate. These are some of the top fillies in North America that she has just obliterated in this field. And you see Ronnie here down by the finish line. He's just going to kind of reel her in a bit, so she finishes up just nice and cozy. Jess, she is a true superstar. Over $500,000 in the bank this year, her 2-year-old season. She's the fastest 2-year-old filly in the history of harness racing. That was a 148 flat win just a few weeks back at the Red Mile in Lexington. The stakes record for the Breeders' Crown Final, 149-2. That was a couple of years ago by a horse that would have been her stablemate. My Girl EJ, a lot of similarities there. She was also trained by Ron Burke. She's also a daughter of Sweet Lou, but she is a true budding superstar here, and she is absolutely the one to beat there, as you saw her just put away some of the exact same foes she'll face right here tonight.
She's got one ill line down the program page, Gabe. That came in that Pennsylvania Sire Stakes action. She had a bit of steering issues. I think they've ironed out all those wrinkles with her. And of course, we talk about the breeders. Well, the Burke Brigade are the breeders on, of course, Lua Deepa. They had the mare. They've got a really nice one in the 3-year-old ranks as well. Looks good in Lulu. Just a sensational 2-year-old season so far for her. And Ron Burke was quoted earlier this week saying she's kind of like Bojangles. They're going to have to figure out. She's a very nice filly. He believes she's the best 2-year-old pacing filly, and definitely the best 2-year-old pacing filly he's trained.
Yeah, she's just incredible. Again, those are the very best fillies you saw in North America that she faced at her elimination here last week, Jess, and just completely blew them away. I think she's better now than she's been all year, and it's already been a stellar year. I really think that stakes record of 149-2 is in jeopardy right here tonight.
I'm going to have to agree with you on that one. On the male side, of course, I just mentioned Bojangles. He's riding an 11-race win streak in his 2-year-old campaign. Jenna has more on Bojangles.
He's going to face his toughest task to date here today, Bojangles, as he is a perfect 11 for 11 in his 2-year-old season. He was the super final winner up here in Ontario. He gets home team advantage here tonight, home track advantage, I should say, here tonight. But he's got some stellar colts to his inside, one of them being Brandon Boulevard, the other a limb winner. But Bojangles, he has just been sensational for Dr. Ian Moore. He was a front and a limb winner, as he has a lot of ones up and down his program page. He's done a lot of work on the front end here this season. Again, tough task here tonight from an outside draw, post 6, but a sensation 2-year-old season. Every time they've called on him down the stretch, he just seems like he has another gear to go into. As we see in the limb here, a comfortable winner, as we'll send it back to Chris and Paul. Guys, Bojangles, he's going to be exciting tonight.
Thank you very much, and welcome to another member of our team, Jenna Otten. She's going to be trackside there all night long, and you do see Bojangles there. When you see no seconds and no thirds, and you see 11 wins, 11 starts, that's a pretty good horse and a pretty tough one to take down here tonight.
And the way he turned away Frantic Hanover just shows why this guy's got a heart of a champion going on for him. And one of the things about him is, Dr. Ian Moore doesn't like to run his horses, his young horses anyway, more than maybe about 9 or 10 times. So the fact that he's run this horse 11 times, this horse is 11 for 11, and still physically looks good in his demeanor, in his body language, in his eyes, it speaks volumes, to how good of a horse he really is and can be, and he's kind of still learning. I know he's got 11 wins, but he's still a 2-year-old, so there is still some room for improvement. Now, yes, toughest field he's going to face. Yes, he's going to be forwardly placed in a race. We'll see if anybody wants to go out there with him, but until somebody knocks him off in his own backyard, he's the king right now. I can't look past him.
So many storylines, so many things going on here tonight, especially with those 2-year-old races. The boys and the girls going to tackle each other. How are you going to get involved and make sure that you get involved in the action? Of course, you head on over to Naira Bets. Join Naira Bets today. You can get a free $25 bet plus a $200 deposit match bonus just in time for the Breeders' Cup World Championships, which will be next weekend, of course, for the Thoroughbreds. But use that code CUP25 and sign up now at NairaBets.com. Claim your $25 free bet and a $200 deposit match bonus. I know Paul is ready to go. He's got all the winning selections tonight. We got the great team that's Trackside. And we've got a horse of the year that's looking for a repeat, Twin B Joe Fresh. We'll talk about her plenty when we come back on the other side. We're just getting started on America's Day at the Races.
The Cup is calling. Bet the Breeders' Cup with Naira Bets. Download the Naira Bets app or sign up at nairabets.com to get a $25 free bet and $200 deposit match bonus today. Watch live horse racing, get expert picks, and boost your bankroll with lucrative promotions. Play the Breeders' Cup World Championship with Naira Bets. New players sign up now to claim your $25 free bet and $200 deposit match only with Naira Bets.
Twinbee Joe Fresh accelerates. Twinbee Joe Fresh, a powerhouse, left them in the dust here. On the far outside, Sylvia Hanover. Twinbee Joe Fresh locks it down in the Breeders' Crown, and a record 6 crowns for Dexter Dunn. Twinbee Joe Fresh dominates over Kobe's Gigi.
And there you did see last year's Breeders' Crown, and you did see Twinbee Joe Fresh, and there is Dexter Dunn. Impressive.
I remember sitting there. We were right by the finish line, as a matter of fact, on set, and looking at Gabe and saying, I mean, he's celebrating way before he even got to the finish line, and he had her gear down, too, and knew what was underneath him, obviously. It was capped off a great year for Twinbee Joe Fresh.
And when you see familiar names like that, and when you see them in these Breeders' Crown races, it's nice because, you know, with the consistency and with coming on back, you do see them back here tonight as well. And you see the list. You take a look at last year's winners that are returning. Coach Stefanos is there. Blueprint, of course, is going to be a big name to watch. Marilyn and Mickey and Minnie.
Yeah, and I think that that's one of the great things about the standard bred side. You get to see these horses compete year after year after year as long as they are sound and as long as they are healthy and still competitive. And some of them don't flourish until they're 3, 4, and 5 years old. And I think that that's important because we don't see that often on the thoroughbred side. You know, they get retired pretty quickly sometimes for various reasons. So, like I've always said, it's easier to become a fan quicker in the standard bred side because you get to see these horses in these rivalries more often.
And some of those fans are also those folks that follow the sport very closely, and they get a chance to rank some of these trotters and these pacers here on this evening. And you take a look at the Breeders' Crown poll. Blueprint has been the top of the poll pretty much the entire way, but you did see some movement there. Bojangles moving up, Motorcon Legacy moving down, Twinbee Joe Fresh right there at number 2. Anything jump out to you here at this list outside of we're going to see a lot of these names here in the next 2 nights?
Yeah, it's basically a culmination of what these horses have been doing all year. And honestly, you know, tonight, yes, this will help you for year-end awards. It does not be the end-all, be-all, you know, to determine those final awards because there's still a couple of more races down the line that these horses may be in next month. but it does help you, to be on that list for sure. And obviously, this is the cream of the crop and the best of the best because they are all competing, obviously, in Breeders' Crown races.
And speaking of the cream of the crop, who's been at the top of that list? That's right, it's been Blueprint. Special horse seeking to cap off this magical year, Ron Burke. He's got a ton of good ones. This one might be the best ever. Come on back. We're going to talk more about America's Day at the Races and Blueprint. Welcome back to America's Day at the Races, and you see Trackside there. That looks nice. A little fireplace action.
Nice and cozy, right?
Yeah, it's not a fireplace. What are those called?
Like fire pit.
Fire pit. Fire pit. Very technologically advanced fire pit, though.
I like that.
Yeah, it's a beautiful setting there, Trackside at Woodbine Mohawk. And speaking of Woodbine Mohawk, we got race number 5 coming up. And you take a look at race number 5, a field of 9 here with that one scratch of the 4. Right now, favoritism down towards the inside, Blue Point, and also you see Blinded by Delight, 2-1, 5-2, very close in the wagering early.
Yeah, legitimate here for Blue Point. Kind of dropped in class from a couple of starts back and didn't have the greatest of runs, but she rebounded nicely last week.
All right, there's Gorgeous Package, number 1 at 18-1.
Yeah, third last time out, beating about 4 3/4.
Just mentioned Blue Point, going to be currently 9-5 here, the price coming down.
Yeah, it was a much better mile last time out for her.
Blinded by Delight will be right next door.
Yeah, she should be okay now with a little bit of a drop in here for her.
Scratching the number 4 here is the 5, Dirty Diana.
Did not have the greatest starts last time, broken the jug yet, so this is a much softer spot for her.
You're getting 5-1 right now on the 6, Wicked and Single.
Tried racing against Chantilly in the Gold Super Final. Again, an easier spot here.
The 7, Ms. Quicksand.
This is my top pick in here. She's capable at this level. She had trouble in her last 3 starts.
All right. Paul coming with a price here. The 8, She's Got It All.
Yeah, it's going to need to improve off her last couple of starts here to be competitive.
And taking a look at the number 9 here, setting a precedent.
Aggressive handling of her a couple of starts back. She needs to get back to that one tonight.
And at 49-1, a big long shot here, the 10, Better Not Mock Me.
She raced okay. She got bad post, though, tonight, though. I have to deal with post number 10.
Paul, talking about this field and taking a look, and you went with a price here in race number 5. You're giving us a little bit of a number. Who do you like here, top pick?
With the number 7 in here, Miss Quicksand, I think she's very capable of putting together a good effort in this spot. I mean, just go back to a race that she ran 4 starts back, and she made a nice run in there. She was clearly the best, and that was actually a level higher than what she's running in tonight. She had some trouble in her last couple of starts as well. She either raced too high or she drew inside on the rail, which probably wasn't a good spot for her. So I could see her getting aggressive tonight, hopefully. Maybe they'll put her into the race a little bit earlier, and she's going to be a square price in here. And I know it's a competitive field, but I'll take 16-1 any day on a horse that I think has some troubled trips in the last 3 starts.
All right, Paul's trying to sniff out here a little bit of a long shot here in race number 5. Give you 16-1 right now on the 7 in Miss Quicksand. It looks like Jenna Otten, she's taking a price, but how about those 2 at the desk there at Woodbine Mohawk? They like the favorite, Gabe and Jess. What do you see here? The 2 at 2-1.
Well, you know what? Gabe and I usually try and go against the favorite. And I look up at the board, Gabe, 9-5 on our top choice, Blue Point. But it was hard to look past that effort last time out. 50-2 effort, 27-3. Didn't get room to race until late. It was hard to go against her in this spot.
Yeah, I think she's just very well spotted, Jess. This was a mare that raced through the summer out of the East Coast. She was in Philadelphia, out at the Meadowlands as well. Had a productive summer. Recently, about a month back, she shipped up here north of the border to Woodbine Mohawk Park, and she steadily dropped in class. This is her second start at this level, but she ran into a very good mare last out that was on a big class step there as well, and she was a very good runner-up. So I think this is sort of her stage to step up, seal the deal, and deliver the knockout punch here. It's just a perfect spot for her. She goes for trader Dave Maneri. He is the leading trader here on the circuit. He wins at about a 28% clip. So
we both use that favorite on top at 9-5, and we both like the 9 underneath as well. You're getting 13-1 on set and a precedent. Doug McNair won the opener this evening on the card. This horse is going to take a bit of a drop in class as well. Post 9, maybe a little bit tough, but I will say that post 9 here at Mohawk is a lot different than maybe post 9 at the Meadowlands.
Yeah, and you'll be aided with a scratch there inside too. She'll actually start from post 8. That's not going to hurt her chances, but it's going to be all about the start here. I think Doug McNair is going to have to be aggressive with this mare, Jess. If he is, I think she gets out of there and gets some good position here. A little bit of a sleeper on the board right now, 12-1. I'm actually shocked she's that big of a number. She's had a great campaign as well. She's earned nearly $80,000 and just been consistent, but early speed, typically her weapon of choice. She did not leave the gate last out from post 10, but she was up in class. I think at a dip tonight, we'll see aggressive handling from her driver, Doug McNair.
Speaking of aggressive handling, that horse on your screen right now, she's got it all, is 5-1 on the board, and I don't typically love taking horses on the drop in class if they haven't been performing up to it, but the last time we saw her at this level, she was a winner right down the road, and her length of margins that she's been getting beat hasn't been by much. 3 lengths, pacing in 50. She's just one of some buzzkill of horses. Tells on a roll. We'll see that one in the Breeders' Crown tomorrow. Sweet Beach here. We'll see that one in the Breeders' Crown tomorrow as well.
Yeah, she's been hooking up with some absolute killers. There's no question about that. Speaking of the 8, she's got it all. I'm just, relying a little bit on something you mentioned there. She's just not been finishing her up her miles all that well. She's sort of been a little bit empty, I would call it, across the line. I just think at 5-1, maybe a horse that, I'm trying to beat at least out of the top couple of spots here. Recent form, just a little bit of a concern.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. Maybe this drop, it could be a drop and pop sort of scenario for her from now post 7, getting a nice price there at 5-1. The 6 horse on the screen, 9-2 right now on this one. Wicked and Single. I'll get your thoughts on this one. Of course, picking up Dexter Dunn.
I'm going to have to disagree with Jet. I know it's her top pick here. We're about to get her thoughts, but just there are 3 3-year-old fillies in here taking on older mares. And this is a 6-year Wicked and Single, one of those. That's just a tough task at this stage of their career. I know it's a little bit late in their 3-year-old season, but she has faced mainly 3-year-olds. Her own age. She's taking, stepping up tonight to face some mares that have had some great careers. 6, 7-year-olds that are just veterans. Stack on the fact she's 0 for 16 this year. She hasn't even been able to step up and win against only 3-year-olds. I just think that's a tall order. I think she may be the play against, at least from where I stand of this race. I'll tell you why a lot of that action is driven to the 6 Wicked and Single. We all know that. Dexter Dunn, of course, the man of the moment, had set a record last year, 6 Breeders' Crown championships over the course of the 2-night weekend. We'll see how he does as we've got our first Breeders' Crown final, of course, on the 6th race of the night. But I think Dex is driving a lot of that action. I just think a filly here against older mares, it's being a little bit overbet.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you on there. Even though she was facing horses like the likes of Chantilly, of course, she was a phenomenal filly in her 3-year-old season as well. We'll send it back to Chris and Paul before they head to the gate for race 5.
Taking a look at number 10 right now, Paul, and you were talking about posts, and you didn't like the post for the 10, a huge long shot in here, but is there a disadvantageous post on the night that we're going to see? Do you at Woodbine Mohawk, if people aren't familiar with the course, why would this be a bad post, I guess, and maybe that's even thinking for some of the later races?
Any time that you're wide and you're going to give up some ground, or you may not be able to find a pylon or an inside trip that you want, I mean, obviously it's going to hurt you if you're on the outside draws, but then again, if you have speed and there's intent, and if you can get out there and clear or get yourself good position, it may not be as much of a hindrance. It's more about intention leaving in race flow than anything else. I mean, you definitely don't want to draw the 10 hole every single start for sure. I mean, there's no doubt about that.
So do you think that like maybe the 9 or the 10 would be a disadvantageous post throughout the weekend, or not really? Just mainly the 10, something to keep a focus on that you're going to really have to be able to put up a good mile.
I want to see also how the track is playing and how flows are, but I would not want to be hung out wide by any means. I mean, we've seen it before. It doesn't matter whether you're on a 5/8 or 7/8 mile track. I mean, losing ground anywhere is disadvantageous.
Very good. You're still sitting at 15-1. We're ready to kick things off here. Race number 5, Woodbine Mohawk. It's Breeders' Crown. We're kicking off the weekend. This is race number 5, and here is the track announcer, Chad Rosella, with the call to kick things off here tonight.
First Grade 1 Breeders' Crown final coming up in race 6, but before we get there, let's close the early one with a field of 9 on the pace. Maneri looking to double up. He's got Blue Point here at 2-1 with Blinded by the Light, getting some attention at 3-1 now. 9-2 on the 8. She's got it all. 5th race, field of mares. They're lined up. Here they come. And away they go. They're often pacing, and McNair chases, setting a precedent out of there from the 9 hole. Calls on her to sprint forward. She's trying to cross over to grab the lead. She'll do that. Then they're 3 wide in behind her. She's got it all. In between horses, Ms. Quicksand, and now Wicked and Single, dropping back to a seat in 4th. As Zeron drives on with She's Got It All to take over the lead from Setting a Precedent and Ms. Quicksand. Wicked and Single, she'll stay to the outside for Dunn and continue moving forward. 26-4 opening quarter. Brought to the outside is Blue Point 5th, and it's 2 more lengths to Blinded by Delight, who's a length and a half in front of Gorgeous Package. 3 more to Dirty Diana, who's tracked by Better Not Mock Me. They go by 3/8, and things are not settled up front here yet. Wicked and Single finally clears in front of She's Got It All, but Blue Point's coming to call on the outside now, 2nd. Setting a precedent. The early leader is back in 4th. Ms. Quicksand follows her in 5th. 4th's on the move with Blinded by the Light. Gorgeous Package will follow her. Then 4 more lengths to Dirty Diana, who's followed by Better Not Mock Me. The half was 54-2. Wicked and Single leads it half a length on Blue Point, who presses. She's Got It All in behind the leader, 3rd. Then Setting a Precedent locked up. Outside of that one, 5th, Blinded by Delight. Gorgeous Package getting towed closer. To the inside is Ms. Quicksand in 7th. And then we've got a big break to Dirty Diana and Better Not Mock Me. 1:22-1 to 3/4. And Wicked and Single parked a while to get to the lead, then faced some pressure, but she's still on top. Now 2 on She's Got It All, trying to close up the inside. Blue Point in the center of the track. Wide is Blinded by the Light, and behind them Setting a Precedent. Wicked and Single with She's Got It All, and Blinded by the Light continues to come forward. She's Got It All's got the lead. Blinded by the Light closing at her, but She's Got It All has got it all by a length. She's Got It All in the 5th in 1:50-2.
She's Got It All with an inside run there. Dexter Dunn gave him a moment there on the number 6 and Wicked and Single, but She's Got It All with the top performance gets the win, and in nice fashion there to kick things off on the program. Jess, Gabe, your thoughts there, trackside.
Well, I thought Jenna was going to teach us a lesson there, Gabe. Wicked and Single, hard press there to the half before making the front. She held in tough, though. It was a nice journey for She's Got It All. Scott Easy, that's a double on the night.
Yeah, really, it was the way this race set up. The 6 had to be used very hard just to make the lead. She took a lot of pressure there from the 2 Blue Point. At that time, Dexter Dunn opted to park out the 2 Blue Point. He did not turn her loose to the lead. That really aided the 8. She's Got It All. She got that perfect trip following the 6. You see that inside's going to open up late here as the 6 Wicked and Single is just going to drift a little bit to the outside there as she gets tired. Scott Zeron, She's Got It All. They'll take full advantage. That's the mare we talked about who have been facing better, just not in great form. She dips down in class tonight. She gets a perfect trip from her pilot, and she's going to skim the cones here to get it done at 4-1, the 3rd choice in race 5.
Nice price at 4-1, Paul, and your 7 was coming on a little bit late there, but you did see some of the speed holding up, a little bit of it tiring, and then you just see that really the best horse with a little bit of class ends up winning this race.
Yeah, perfect trip too.
Yep.
And that helped immensely. Also the drop in class tonight too as well a little bit. Also, it did the trick for this 6-year-old mare. Now gets a lifetime win number 15.
And I think one thing you may want to take a look at with the 6 Wicked and Sindel, Dexter Dunn's going to be live pretty much throughout the night, right? So he is going to give you some scares like that. Didn't get the job done. Wicked and Sindel just tired late, but ends up holding on to be in some of the exotics. But you do see the 8 She's Got It All with that inside trot and getting the job done. An impressive win. Inside pace. I'll get that right throughout the 2 nights, but there is the 8, and you do see them getting to the winner's circle. All right, we're going to take a break here. Come on back. There's the trophies. There's what everybody is looking forward to, and especially those 2-year-olds in the Philly Pace. We got so much more on a huge night here on America's Day at the Races here on FS2.
Once a year, the greatest converge. 12 championship races. Over $7 million on the line. History will be made. Legends will rise. In October 2026, Scioto Downs becomes the venue where speed meets destiny. The Breeders' Crown, harness racing's ultimate showdown. It all comes down to the Breeders' Crown.
The Central Ontario Standardbred Association is working with you to ensure a vibrant horse racing community. Shared stories call for a united voice. That's COSA, representing the interests of horse people racing at Ontario racetracks. So whether you're first, last, or somewhere in between, we've got your back. With insurance, benefits, free lifetime memberships, and more. COSA. Follow our stories on social and check out the process at cosaonline.com.
Armitage Farm is an up-and-coming standardbred breeding operation based in Midway, Kentucky, whose primary focus is on trotters. In their first ever consignment at Lexington this fall, Armitage Farm raised and sold the highest priced trotting colt of the entire sale. The Sponstead stable purchased the son of Captain Corey for $750,000, named Jim Doogie Armitage. Armitage Farm, trotting into the future.
A showcase of the finest 3-year-old trotters in the nation, the Hambletonian Stakes was first contested at the Syracuse Fairgrounds in 1926.
Away from the rest of the field, it is Guy McKinney to win the first Hambletonian.
Named after Risdick's Hambletonian, the father of the American trotter. In 1981, set against the backdrop of New York City, the Meadowlands Racetrack at East Rutherford, New Jersey became the latest and longest running host venue. The urban stage for the most memorable moments.
And he's pouring it on! Mac Lovell has won! Here's the finish! Too close to call!
Operation Hambletonian complete! It's Muscle Hill, 150-1, equaling the world record!
10 horses, $1 million, and a dream to be the best.
And welcome back, and you do see the Rogers Center where there is a World Series Game 1 happening right now. Told the score is 0-0 early on.
Go Blue Jays.
Well, yeah, I'll take the Dodgers. Why not? America's Day at the Races, and they got a great game going on. Great series, hopefully, there. Game 1 of 7, but we've got a winner circle presentation going on here. She's got it all with an impressive victory with that inside, going to the inside when it did open up, and the shortest way around there is staying towards that inside.
Well, got a good trip, too, getting to sit right behind the helmet of Wicked and Single, so when that opened up on the inside, it's got Zeron. Bunnyman took full advantage, gets the job done, keeping it all in the family for Richard Zeron. 4-1 winner here to kick things off for us on our racing action, and hopefully you were able to connect with She's Got It All, Blinded by Delight, the 3, and the 6, Wicked and Single. Race number 6 is going to kick off some of our Breeders' Crown action coverage, and we got the 2-year-old fillies getting set to go, and you got a field of 10, and you take a look at some of the early action right now. Nezuko Kamado, Scott Zeron, who's had a good night so far, is going to be on the 2 at 4-5. Yeah, and I think probably out of the 3 Marcus Melander horses in this field, this is the horse that's probably going to take the lion's share of the money and the focus for the barn in here, and rightfully so.
All right, that is going to be the 2-year-old fillies there in the Breeders' Crown. And race number 6 So looking forward to that. And we see the 2-year-olds here on a night like this, but when we take a look at how they're progressing and how they do get older, and of course the 3-year-old division is going to be very strong as well. And you take a look at the 3-year-old filly trot, and that's going to be tomorrow on our Saturday coverage, of course, a grade 1. And Yo Tilly, the number 4, Todd McCarthy, will drive 7-5. Delaney Hanover in there too, but Yo Tilly's really going to be the one to contend with.
Got back to her winning ways too. This was a fairly easy score in her elimination. And you know, it's funny, she's such a cool horse and a good horse, but sometimes she kind of gets to looking around, or she wants to see other horses around her when she's on the lead. But Todd asked her, Todd McCarthy gave her a cue, and she took off again. I mean, she ran a solid race in the stretch. She trotted strong to the wire, and that's what you want to see. And she's going to be a handful in this spot because, honestly, she's been better than most of these horses, if not all of them. You can argue that Delaney Hanover is run exceptionally well, and I'm a Delaney Hanover fan, but Yo Tilly's been better at times than Delaney.
Yeah, and you're going to become very familiar and see some of those names that we've been following throughout the year, but Delaney Hanover at 9-5, going to be that second choice on the morning line. And it was interesting because Gabe was talking about like stakes records and some of those track records and things like that. You continue to kind of see that on our broadcast. Yo Tilly is going to be tough to contend with, but Delaney Hanover is not. She's a tough customer as well, so she's going to be in that spot. Gabe, Jess, what are your thoughts on tomorrow's 3-year-old filly trot?
Oh, well, I can tell you one thing. It is going to be a showdown in that 3-year-old filly trot Breeders' Crown Championship final race game. Yo Tilly, Delaney Hanover have matched up 4 times. It wasn't until the last time they matched up down in Lexington, Kentucky on the 27th of September where Delaney Hanover got the best of Yo Tilly. Now, the question was after that race, was Yo Tilly tired? And I have a hard time believing that she was tired. She put up a 26-2 last quarter. She trotted in 50-3. She just got beat by a horse who had some fresh legs, and she come back stronger than ever last week.
Yeah, she did. They actually drew an opposite eliminations for their Breeders' Crown. So the top 5 at each of the race last week will make the final. So they almost steered clear last week for this epic showdown coming up tomorrow night. But it really is a question, Jess. Do you want the now horse? That's Delaney Hanover. She's riding a 4-race win streak, as you said. Lost to Yo Tilly the first 3 times they hooked up. But you did get the best of her down at Lexington at the Red Mile. Delaney Hanover, though, just cruising here in her elimination. She's actually going to come from off the pace. She was the 4-5 favorite. You see her 3rd over, 6th position there. She's drafting off cover there with the other horses. For standardbreds by nature, they like to draft there. But you'll see driver Scott Zeron ultimately tip her widest of all when he shows her racetrack there about mid-stretch. She's really going to accelerate her late and pick up all of her rivals, particularly here the final 16th of a mile. She just rolls past a wetted. She's been so sharp. Again, that was her 4th consecutive win. Yo Tilly, who's 10 of 11 this season. It's hard to say she's done much wrong, again, despite that last time they hooked up. That was her lone loss of the year. So do you want the sharp horse right now that's won 4 in a row, or do you want the proven commodity all season long?
You know what's going to be interesting as well, Gabe, is Delaney Hanover has showed us time and time again she loves to track a horse down. She likes to come from off the pace like you saw in that elimination. We've seen her leave the gate twice. She was 2nd behind Yo Tilly in the Delmonico where she left the gate. She had the lead at the quarter pole there. We saw her leave the gate in Lexington when she beat Yo Tilly. She set the pocket trip there. She trotted home strongly. Yo Tilly, on the other hand, now she was a little bit of a hot horse early on in her season. Andrew Harris and Todd McCarthy have done a fantastic job in managing her that way because, you know, trotting fillies can get a little bit crazy sometimes, I guess you could say. But she really likes to fight them off. So I'm kind of curious to see how it's going to shape up tomorrow trip-wise. Of course, Delaney Hanover with post 2, Yo Tilly with post 4. They were the 2 to draw for the better post positions 1 through 6. But Yo Tilly, of course, Andrew Harris quoted earlier this week, he wasn't disappointed in that race down at the Red Mile. She likes to be turned out outside every day. They didn't have that option at the Red Mile. She's enjoying the fresh Canadian air, and he's excited about his chances tomorrow with Yo Tilly. Back to you guys.
Thanks so much, guys. And yeah, taking a look at Yo Tilly and Delaney Hanover. Really looking forward to that matchup tomorrow. And of course, we've got that great matchup coming up here tonight. We've still got the 2-year-old fillies that are going to go after one another. So really looking forward to what Dexter Dunn's going to do, because I think he's got a live one here coming up in this 6th race. Of course, to kick off our British Crown coverage, it's the 2-year-old filly trot. Set your sights high. We're going to talk about her a little bit and plenty more on this beautiful night on America's Day at the Races. Come on back.
All sports dynasties share one thing.
Home run! Another world champion!
They dominate.
Bulldog Hanover, then Rocky Road Hanover, Line Drive Hanover, and a Buckabet Hanover. It's Bulldog Hanover, 1:45.4, the fastest mile in harness racing history.
Purchase Hanover yearlings at Harrisburg. Hanover Shoe Farms, a standard bred dynasty.
It doesn't get any better than that. Wow!
The Cup is calling at the Breeders' Cup with Naira Bets. Download the Naira Bets app or sign up at NairaBets.com to get a $25 free bet and $200 deposit match bonus today. Watch live horse racing, get expert picks, and boost your bankroll with lucrative promotions. Play the Breeders' Cup World Championship with Naira Bets. New players sign up now to claim your $25 free bet and $200 deposit match only with Naira Bets.
We are athletes. We are drivers. We are caretakers. We are owners. We are trainers. We are fans. We are harness racing.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race from every track on every screen every day. Monthly packages starting as low as $5 per month. RTN gives you great value and access to more HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit rtn.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire.
Joviality coming on, raised by Lindy, full out. Joviality, a big effort on the outside from post 10. Raised by Lindy. Joviality is relentless on the outside. Joviality on the outside, on the inside. Raised by Lindy and Joviality. They hit the line together. Too close to call.
And a wet night there. That was back in 2021. Taking a look at that 2-year-old filly trot. And Joviality, trained by Marcus Melander, got the victory that night.
She was so good, too, man. She was a Dan Patch Award winner. She won the Yonkers Trot. And then she went on to be the European Mare of the Year as well. It's really unfortunate that she got injured when she did because she was a superstar.
Yeah, it looks like it was a little bit of weather on that night, but you know what? It's always a good night when it ends up in the winner's circle. And you do see Joviality there with that victory back in 2021. And Marcus Melander, he's got a couple in here. He's going to be taking a look at the 2-year-old filly's trot here tonight. And this one kicks off again, our Breeders' Crown coverage. He's got the 1 Laney W. He's got the 9 Set Your Sights High. Dexter Dunn will have the driving duties. And right now we got Jenna Otten with more. Trainer Marcus Melander.
Joined here with trainer Marcus Melander, who looks to add Breeders' Crown Trophy number 6 to his resume, and he sends out a trio of trotting fillies here tonight. Marcus, we're going to start with the limb winner first and foremost, Nezuko Kamado. She's riding a 4-race win streak coming into tonight, and she's just been really sharp.
Yeah, she's been, she had a little trouble on the half-mile tracks there, and, as soon as we brought it to a break track, she really showed her potential. So she's been racing great these last couple of weeks, so hopefully she'll do it again tonight.
How important is it to win your Breeders' Crown elimination knowing you secure a 1 through 6 draw?
Oh, it's very important. I mean, because like you said, you draw 1 through 6. If you're lucky finishing second or third and you still draw good, that's obviously great. But obviously it's a huge advantage that you're going to draw good.
Another one of your starters in there did draw well, and that was Laney W. She had tons of trot left on the end of her mile after maybe a little bit of a disappointing effort in Lexington.
Yeah, we tried, leave with her in Lexington there and put her on the front, and it's not her cup of tea. She needs to come off the pace. That's her kind of race. So she raced great in the elimination. So if she gets a trip like that again, she can definitely go with him.
And a quick comment on Set Your Sights High, post 9 for her after finishing second in her limb.
Yeah, she's had a great year, and I don't think anyone should ignore her because she had a little break there after the Ohio Star Stakes final, and she needed the race. So I think she'll be a lot sharper tonight.
Marcus, good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
And talked about the 1 and the 9, Paul, but of course the 2, Nezuko Kamado, is the one taking the early action. So it wasn't just a duo, it was a trio there for trainer Marcus Melander. Your thoughts here on the 2, who was taking some of that early action?
It's going to be my top pick in here, and I know that this horse is going to ultimately end up being the favorite in here. And I mean, she was way back in this limit, just surveying the action early, which at the end of the day, it was the smart move because when you pick the race apart, They went 55 in that middle half, and that certainly was going to ultimately make this race come apart. So when you look at it on its face, you could say maybe they came home a little slowish, but they were a tired group of horses up front, as you're about to see as they come down the stretch. So, and she ended up rolling right by them. And listen, she's got the money man, Scotty Z, in the bike. He knows his way around here, so it'll be interesting to see how she trots tonight. But I think she's going to be just fine. She's 6 for 9 this season. I think it's all systems go.
When you do see a trio like that for a trainer, how are you evaluating them? Do you have to look at them differently, or do you just feel like, you know, whoever wants the best of that group, this is just, I got to look at them separately, and I feel like the 2 is the best?
Yeah, just pick them apart individually and see which horses have run the better races. And in this case, I think it's Nezuko Kamado for sure. Although, we'll see what we get from Lainey W. I mean, you know, she's better from off the pace, as Marcus said. And we'll see what the rail position does for her tonight, because we'll see if Yannick Gingras has to take her way out of the race early, or she takes herself out of the race early, or she's a little closer. If she's a little closer, that may hinder her closing kick.
One of the horses that's not trained by Marcus Melander, and that's going to be the number 5 in Storybook Love. And taking a look at Storybook Love coming into this next effort, did go up against Set Your Sights High, but this is back on 10-17. You took a look at that 6th race. What did you take from this one?
You know, for a horse that tends to run second more than she actually wins in Storybook Love, I mean, she looked really smooth. Had a huge number in here getting the job done. Just had a nice second over. She trotted home strong, which is all you can ask for, and you love seeing it for the connections as well. So she'll be better in the final. You know, she's going to have to pick up her game a little bit. But listen, she's proved that she could capitalize on the right trip, and that's what you want to see in here. So maybe she can sit and pounce again and be able to trot late. But nice effort for her. Like to see it for the New Yorkers.
Yeah, do you feel like she's got to make her trip? I mean, do some of these horses have to get the perfect trip in order to get the victory?
Yeah, you're going to need some pace in front, a trot in front of you in this spot. Saying pace like I'm with the thoroughbreds. But you're going to need some trot in front of you for sure. And some of them do tend to be better following a helmet. So you're going to have to try and work your way and find your way for that trip.
Looking forward to what's going to happen in race number 6. A couple minutes away here till getting a post parade going, but it's a big night like this, and big wagering, of course, is going to be on the night as well. We've got some tickets that we'll have a little bit, I think, later. We got a pick 5 coming up, and we got some pick 4. So we're going to have a really exciting night of different wagering opportunities, and we saw a 4-to-1 shot win already. Do you feel like we're going to see quite a few favorites, or is this one of those nights where you got to say, look, these are some of the best that we have out here. I cannot take a short price at 2-to-5, 1-to-5.
I think it's on a case-by-case, horse-by-horse basis for sure. I mean, when you look later on in the card and you see a horse like Luadipa coming up, and, you know, I mean, that horse is going to be 1-to-5 or 1-to-9.
Morning Line was 1-to-5, yeah, sure.
So, I mean, you're going to try and find some value underneath these horses for sure. Whether or not that plays out on the track's a completely different story. I love this view.
You do love this view.
I love this view. There's nothing like being in the paddock.
Well, and it's also a big night, right? I mean, it's a big night for all these connections. They know that the big money is on the line, and so when you get a nice crowd out there out in Campbellville, Ontario, and I'm sure Gabe and Jess they're seeing the big crowd right in front of them too with the big celebrations, but for a big night, not only one night, but 2 nights over a weekend where you've got the World Series in town, you got some great action, just probably a great atmosphere to be in, but we're enjoying it right here in our New York studio. Let's go to a post-parade. Number 1 is Lainey W.
Done a great job this year for Marcus Melander. Made over $250,000, you know, in just a short time in 10 starts. We'll see what the rail draw does for her tonight. We'll see how far back early she actually is in this spot.
Big price right now at 23-to-1. Here is your current favorite, Nezuko Kamado, at 4-to-5.
I'm interested to see also where she sets up shop early on, but going into this race on paper, she is way the horse to beat.
All right, next up will be the number 3 here in Southwind Chaska.
Rebound effort potential for her tonight. They pulled the shoes. She's barefoot. Last week, I think she had things her own way in the limit. She kind of packed it in. Maybe it was just a start over this surface. Maybe she just wasn't comfortable. We'll see.
Driver Ronnie Wren, maybe you're looking forward to a nice weekend here, and that's going to be Atlantic Summer the 4.
Yeah, trained by Ron Burke, of course, and he's got a big hand in a lot of races this weekend as well. It's good to see Ronnie Wren driving for him and getting some live drives all year long.
5-to-1 on Storybook Love.
I talked about this horse. You're not getting the 33-to-1 you got last week, that's for sure, on this.
The 6 is going to be coming up here, and that's going to be one of those long shots that we'll see on the evening, and that is the 6 at 16-to-1. That's bingo night.
Third last week, 2 1/4 lengths behind Nezuko Kamado and Lainey W. is probably going to have to get better to bridge the gap between them. We'll see what happens.
All right. There is the 6 right now, and the number 7 will be coming up here in just a moment. And the 7, that's going to be driven by Aki Svanstedt, and that's, of course, going to be Sparks, 17-1 currently on the board.
Yeah, just 2 for 8 on the season, but has banked over $146,000. You can never count out Aki Svanstedt on big nights.
Yeah. A little camera shy, though, right now, the 7. I'm sure she'll be jumping on the screen here in just a moment. And long shots towards the outside. You know, Marcus Melander, he was talking about that 1 through 6 in the qualified. There's a 7 in Sparks.
Aki's a little late to the party.
It's a big night. It's a big night for these 2-year-old fillies to get on out there and look at all the cameras. You can see them all flashing, but 17-1 is going to be a big long shot. And speaking of those long shots, a 99-1 shot. I mean, some of these big long shots, but these are quality horses still in these races too, that you do see end up in these spots at 99-1. Wish Upon a Star Deo is coming up next.
Yeah, you know, against the bigger horses, just hasn't had it, but sort of run second before in a race for $76,000 in the Pure Ivory and was 4th in the Peaceful Way. So this horse can snag a piece if things start to fall apart late.
All right, there is the 8 and the number 9 here. Sets Your Sights High. We talked about this horse, and we do have Dexter Dunn driving, so you're going to see some of that action, but maybe it's well meant here at 4-1.
Was first over last week, and she had quite a bit of trot in the lane. She just got picked off by Storybook Love, as we saw. The earplugs going in tonight for this horse, so maybe she won't hear as much around her early on, and she'll have some more trot late when Dex decides to pull them.
And there is the number 10, last one here towards the outside, Our Road, Joni Jameson.
Gonna have to come from off the pace in this spot, has been doing so all season long, just 2 for 10 on the year.
There is the field here. It's our first of the Breeders' Crown races, and we've got 12 of them over 2 nights. Of course, it's a 2-year-old filly trot. Jess, Gabe, plenty more here, trackside for race 6.
Well, it's the first of 12 Breeders' Crown finals on the track, Gabe. It's going to be an exciting couple nights of racing, of course, mentioning that throughout the night as well. And we're going to kick off a nice pick 5 here. The opening leg is going to be the first final for the Breeders' Crown, and it's those 2-year-old trotting fillies.
Yeah, how about this $100,000 guaranteed pool tonight? So this is a nice pool to shoot into, Jess. It does start right now. I do think the favorite here is the one to beat, Nezuko Kamado, but I don't think she's invincible. I'm going to toss on the 3 Southwind Chaska. She's removing her shoes tonight. That's going to lighten her up a little bit. It'll be interesting to see if she can rebound. I'll also use 7 Sparks, who was flying late last week, and the 9 Set Your Sights High, who we heard Marcus Melander quite confident on. I think the invincible, unbeatable, however you'd like to say it, horse of the night, of course, in the 7th race, that's Lua Deepa. She's been sensational. She is a slam dunk single for me. I'll move on to the 8th race. That one, the final for the 2-year-old trotting colts. 4 deep there. Apex, I think, in with the shot. Spencer Hanover, who's been red hot of late. He comes in off consecutive wins. Diabolic Hill, we took a look back at his 11 a little earlier. And even a long shot, Mr. Big Spender from Poston. I think he's going to leave in that spot tonight. 15-1 in the morning line. Race 9, the undefeated Bojangles. Yes, I'm going to use him. But no, I'm not going to single him. I'm also going to toss on Brandon Boulevard, who comes off a track record. And my long shot at the night, Jess, that's Malillo there.
Oh, I like
who's
it.
8-1 in the morning line. So going to go 2, 3, 6. We'll close it out with race 10 tonight. Maybe one of my best bets of the card is the 8 Seclusion. She makes her 2nd start stateside after being imported from New Zealand. She was loaded in her debut. That was just 1 week ago here last weekend. So I think they'll be more aggressive tonight. 2nd start. I'm also going to use a 7 Grit and Grace, who had some traffic trouble last out. So you'll see it's just a $19.20 punch as we take a shot at this big pool. The first 4 legs, of course, are 4 Breeders' Crown finals here the Friday program.
We heard Chris and Paul mention it, Gabe. This is a race where I don't think I would want to take a short money favorite. I think it's more wide open than what the betting board is telling us. We are getting 4 to 5 on Nezuko Kamado from the Marcus Melander barn. She was a well off the pace winner last time out. I don't know what happened to Southwind Chaska, but she was sensational in those last 3 starts prior to that Breeders' Crown elimination. You're getting 14-1 on her. I just think that's crazy.
Yeah, that is a very big price on her. And, you know, I think it's a little bit of an overreaction, Jess, off just one dull start. She was a little dull last time. She got lucky to hold 5th. That punched her ticket into the final here tonight. I do see the connections tinkering, though. Did mention they were going to pull the shoes here tonight. That tells me they're going to race her, barefoot, of course, and just take an aggressive swing here. All the chips on the table tonight, but the big money on the line.
Yeah, for sure. 4 to 5, or 3 to 4 now, excuse me, on Nezuko Kamado. She's coming off of a couple of wins as well. 4 of those. Marcus Melander did say in a quoted earlier this week that don't mind those breaks earlier on in the season. Those came on smaller tracks. It was a mistake by him. He probably should have taken her down to Kentucky. She was dual eligible, bigger track track suits her well. She's proved that in the last couple of starts.
And Nezuko Kamado, Jess, I had to look up that name. It's named after a fictional character from a series called Demon Slayer. I'm not a viewer. That sounds like a Chris Griffin type show, but cool name here, Nezuko Kamado. As you said, standardbreds, they race the same distance, typically week in and week out, the 1 mile distance. What can change is the circumference of the track. So what Jess is alluding to there, she was racing on a half-mile track. That means a short stretch. You go around 4 turns to finish at your mile distance. She just didn't seem to like that quite as much. She is stretched out to a big track like we have here at Woodbine Mohawk with just the 2 turns. She's been incredible. 4 in a row since arriving at a big track. She's looking to pin her 5th tonight. She just won effortlessly last out.
We'll bring in Jenna for her thoughts on the race 6, the Breeders' Crown final for those two-year-old trotting fillies. Does she go against the favorite in here? 4-5 right now on Nezuko Kamado.
Although I normally do love to go against favorites, I'm going to be on board here with the 4-5 favorite as everybody else is. Nezuko Kamado, 4 in a row she's riding coming into tonight. She was well off of the pace last time out. In that elimination for the Breeders' Crown, she was 8 at the 3/4 pole. She shot off cover out of a cannon there. She was a winner by 2 lengths comfortably. Sky Zeron barely moved a muscle on the bike there. She looked excellent. She seems to be a versatile daughter there, Muscle Hill. From off the pace, on the front end, she can do it either way. She has only missed a board twice in her young career. She looks to keep the winning streak alive here. I thought we were going to be able to get a little bit better of a price than 4-5, but I guess the public is going to be on board with us as well. Just 20 seconds post, we'll get the final thoughts from Chris and Paul.
Thank you very much, Jenna. And you take a look. Here we go. One more time. It's kicking off all the action. 2-year-old filly trot. You're all on the 2. Nezuko Kamado, we're going to see what happens here as we do kick off our Breeders' Crown coverage. The 2-year-old fillies in a trot, $700,000, 1 mile. Enjoy the 12 Grade 1 races over the course of 2 nights. This is one of them. The first one to kick things off, track announcer Chad Rosema with the call.
Trotters, brought to you by Armitage Farm. 4-5 on 2, Nezuko Kamado. Really hitting her best stride late in her rookie campaign. She's won 4 in a row. She was a well off the pace winner in her elimination, setting off of the early speed. Set your sights high. She's got a tough draw, was picked off late. She's getting play at 2-1 and 5-1 in Storybook Love, upset winner in the other limb last week. Field of 10, 2-year-old trotting fillies for the first Breeders' Crown final are lined up, and here they come. And they're off. And the 2025 Breeders' Crown Championships are underway. And the fillies are away and trotting. And Svanstek quickly with Sparks. Jets right for the front. And it is Sparks to lead it with Storybook Love in the 2-hole. Outside is Bingo Night parked. Diving to the inside 4th is Wish Upon a Star. Deo, set your sights high, parked out in 5th for Dunn. Then Laney W, Nezuko Kamado in some traffic. Then Southwind Chaska. It's back to Atlantic Summer, and Arrow is at the back. It's Bingo Night and Tyler Jones to lead them past an opening quarter of 27-4, and into the backstretch they go with Set Your Sights High. Parked and driving forward here for Dunn after leader Bingo Night. Sparks is in behind 3rd. On the outside, Nezuko Kamado also parked. Dunn looks over his shoulder. Set your sights high, trying to get to the front. Leads it there with Nezuko Kamado continuing to forge ahead. Bingo Night now trots 3rd in front of Sparks 4th. In 5th, it's Storybook Love. Locked to the inside with Southwind Chaska to the outside 6th. 55-1. The fillies were down to the half. Atlantic Summer working with cover. To the inside is Wish Upon a Star. Dale. 3rd overs our road trailer Laney W. Nezuko Kamado and Scott Zeron stretch the lead to 2.5 as they head to the last turn with Set Your Sights High in 2nd. Bingo Night is 3rd. Southwind Chaska getting closer on the outside 4th. Locked up 5th is Sparks. Atlantic Summer up to 6th. Then Storybook Love looking for a way through. Our row Laney W swinging wide from the back. 123 1 3/4. And Nezuko Kamado turns for home as a lead of 2 right now and Set Your Sights High. Dunn's calling on her for everything she's got. She starts to close from the pocket. Bingo Night, Storybook Love dives to the inside. Atlantic Summer in the center of the track. Nezuko Kamado, Storybook Love up the inside for Todd Radford and Matt Bax in their Breeders' Crown debuts. Storybook Love is a winner by a length and a half in 1:52.2. What a finish! Storybook Love takes the Breeders' Crown.
Todd Ratchford with the driving duties, and Storybook Love dives down to the inside. gets the victory and a big one there. Impressive performance from off the pace. Gabe, Jess, what did you see as Storybook Love goes down to the inside and gets the money?
Well, let me tell you one thing that's probably the most bizarre two-year-old trotting filly final I've seen in quite some time. Gave lots of movement up front through that first half of a mile. Todd Ratchford, well, he left aggressively with Storybook Love early on, and he let things kind of just play out in front of him before he went up the rail.
Yeah, he won his elimination last week, just at 33-1. Not dismissed quite to that degree tonight, but still off at a good 9-2 price. How about 29-year-old Todd Ratchford? He's a locally based driver on the circuit. This is his very first Breeders' Crown drive. Heck, he just started driving just in 2023 because he was over playing professional hockey in Europe. So this is a guy that really picks up a career-defining win here in a big way. Had to get a little lucky, with finding a seam there as he was threading through heavy traffic, but she was overloaded with late trot here. The daughter of Chapter 7, 2 in a row. She's won 3 of her last 4, and it's her 4th win at her career. A nice way to wrap up her 2-year-old season.
Trainer Matt Back said last week that she's really matured into herself these last couple of starts, and she handled that trip well as he had to weave through traffic late in the mile. They said last week the call from Chad Rosema was Todd Ratchford's going to have a moment next week, and he sure got a big one tonight.
I'll tell you one thing. He was Canada's 2024 Future Star Award winner. Well, if that wasn't, a well-placed award there, as here in 2025, he's going to pick up a major win. 4th-generation horseman. So, family's been in a business for a long time, but great to see a young man here. Again, a former professional hockey player overseas. Has to be just ecstatic here tonight. Again, a regular on this circuit. Nice to see the connections. Trainer Matthew Bax, owners Al Libfeld and Brad Grant, stick with their man. A lot of times there's a little bit of a, maybe you would like to use one of the, national drivers that, in every one of these Breeders' Crown races. They stick with Todd, and he delivers here in a big way.
Yeah, he sure does. As you can see, lots of smiles heading back to the Breeders' Crown winner's circle. It was also Matt Bax appearing in his first Breeders' Crown final as well. Here's Jenna with winning driver Todd Ratchford.
You got the call last week. You were going to have a moment this week. Here you are in the Breeders' Crown winner circle.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. Just what a filly. Oh, my God. What a feeling. Just incredible.
Some high emotions here in the winner's circle. A lot of action in that race. You just stayed left. You had room down by the wire, and she really shot home.
Oh, my God. That's her biggest key, is just keeping her on a helmet as long as possible, and whenever you get room, just let her fly, and just it all worked out.
Talk about being in the winner's circle of the Breeders' Crown. Your first elimination drive ever last week. You captured that. You capture the win here. What does this mean to you?
Oh, it means everything. I mean, just to be able to do it with my sister here and all my family and all the owners and trainers, it's just incredible.
Todd, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
How good was that? Storybook Love. Maybe a storybook ending here. I mean, it's at the end of the season, but that was an impressive performance, Paul.
I mean, you look at her, and she got locked in behind a tiring Sparks in that spot, had to find room. Ultimately, the race came apart with all of the action that happened, but gotta be honest, it's the way she won last week. And she got a nice drive this time up the inside in order to get the job done. Solid effort. Super finish for this horse. A lot of late trot, and I'm very interested now to see if we can get horses to be able to close on the outside, because right now it doesn't look like you can. The inside's the place to be at the moment based on trips.
There is the 2-year-old filly Trot, the winner, Storybook Love. Plenty more on that as we kick things off. What a way to start the night. A big weekend coming up for that man, Ron Burke, the Burke Barn. They are loaded this weekend. We're going to talk about all his shots. Blueprint, of course, Ron Burke, and more on America's Day at the Races.
You're never more here than when you're here. Here is more than just a horse race. Here is where you want to be. And here's the horse that's going to make it happen.
They're off in the Breeders' Cup.
Here she is, coming around the final turn.
Another stretch.
Making sure that this year, you won't be anywhere else, but here.
America's Day at the Races here on FS2. We just saw Storybook Love with a wonderful, wonderful effort. And now our own Jenna Otten, she caught up with the driver, Todd Ratchford. Now she's got the happy owners of Storybook Love.
I have both of the owners joined by me. Al Littfield here to my right, Bradley Grant here to my left. Brad, I'm going to start with you. What a filly she has really turned out to be.
She has. I mean, all year long, you know, she's struggled, but they've been patient with her, and every race she's got better and better, and it finished off with a great finish tonight.
She was second in the Big Apple at Vernon, obviously a winner in her elimination, kind of dismissed by the bettors there, but a tremendous performance tonight. Has the Breeders' Crown kind of always been what you're pointing her towards?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. When we bought her, we felt that this is where she could be, and she's got, you know, a couple more years and lots of broodmare potential afterwards.
You're well represented in Canada here. What does it mean to capture a Breeders' Crown kind of at your home track?
It means as much winning it here as it does winning it with Al. So it's a daily double for me.
Right. We will bring in a co-owner, Al Littfield. Al, you said shouldn't be nervous anymore, and indeed you should not be. What an excellent trip this filly worked out tonight.
Yeah, it was great. Todd did a remarkable job 2 weeks in a row, actually before that as well, and couldn't be more pleased. Matt's awesome at what he does and guided her through her early paces, and you know, we got to win tonight because of that.
We see you throughout the sales throughout the course of the whole season. What did you see in this filly down in Lexington that just stuck out when you wanted to purchase her?
She had the right pedigree. I have a half-sister to her as well. She just moved really well and well put together.
Well, congratulations. She's now a Breeders' Crown champion.
Thank you very much. We're very pleased, both Brad and myself.
Storybook Love captures her division of the Breeders' Crown final in a remarkable mile.
Thank you very much, Jenna. And taking a look at those two owners, congratulations. And here are the prices from today's sixth race, and a nice performance against Storybook Love. You get 9-2, so one of those mid-range prices always pays off.
Yeah, solid price on a horse who just turned the corner after getting away from the half-mile track. She's been great now on the 7/8 in her last, 6 starts now.
All right, you did see that. We got our 2-year-old fillies getting set in race number 7, 1-9 right now on Lua Deepa. Ronnie Wren's going to have the driving duties there for trainer Ron Burke. 1-9, this is one of the favorites. You felt like this is a pretty strong favorite on the card.
Yeah, she's a superstar. She simply is. No other words right now.
And, of course, taking a look at trainer Ron Burke and his night and his weekend, really. He is absolutely loaded. He's got Lua Deepa, but he's also got Blueprint, and he's had Sweet Lou as well. So, trainer Ron Burke, we got a chance to catch up with him because he feels like Blueprint might not be one of the best, but the best that he's ever trained.
My father first had car dealerships, and he sold them when I was 12, thank God, because I don't think I would have enjoyed it as much. We started racing horses. We had 2 horses, and I really thought my dad had lost his mind. You know, we saw that the business was changing and adapted to the changing business and, you know, took advantage of states that got better due to slots, and, you know, we followed where the money was, and it worked out perfectly. Okay, back to Stay Sharp TD, and I'll go with Dancing Champion. My father only passed away a year ago, and he was with us all the way to the end. So my mom's still involved. My mom's the owner and the bookkeeper, and she runs the business side. My sister manages the one barn. My brother manages another barn and makes sure the shipping gets handled. Michelle makes sure everything gets handled. And now my son has joined the business, so, you know, he's starting to drive and, you know, he trains. It is nice that we all get along with each other. You know, and I think that separates us. Like, there's nobody that will put themselves ahead of the other person. She's got to beat 2 minutes, but I'd rather she just sit and then brush late hard. Probably at any point we have 300 horses in training. You know, the organization has grown to over 400. There's sires, there's broodmares. I at least look at every horse every day, at least look at their name and come up with a plan for what I want for that day for them. An easy day, 3 to 4 tracks, and harder day, 9 tracks. You know, on the weekend, we're gonna race 50 to 60 a day. She's a Sweet Lou. This is a 2-year-old colt that'll be in the Breeders' Crown. Malillo, he's a Sweet Lou. Another 2-year-old filly that will be in the Breeders' Crown. I'm a Lulu. She's a Sweet Lou. Sweet Lou has been the sire of the year the last 2 years. We bought him as a yearling and went on to be a great racehorse, multiple world record holder, and he now has become the foundation sire for our barn. All of a sudden, our homebreds were doing better than even the ones we were buying, and it's grew because of him. You know, we have 25 we entered in the Breeders' Crown. At least a third of them have some connection to Lou.
Lou Print trying to get to him and doing that. It's Lou Print. Lou Print tight there.
You walk him to the paddocks and back, he gets excited and then he'll want to stand up and act up. But like in the stall, he's really nice. So Lou Print, usually the better bred babies go to Florida, but for whatever reason, shipping and whatever, he got left up here. And I kept telling the guys down there, I go back and forth like, listen, we have one up there that I think he's better than the ones we have here. And they're like, there's no way, these are killer colts. And they were right. There was great horses, but I go, I'm telling you, I've trained your horses. You haven't trained this one. He's better, I think.
Lou Print comes back to win it. It's Lou Print.
He's very capable of racing from straight from the back or going straight to the front. You know, he's very versatile. I think he is the best horse I've ever trained. But I think his future probably is being a stallion. I think, you know, just due to the economics of the game, I would love to race him one more year. I think he could do special things. I think world records would follow. I think he's capable of a lot more than he's even shown.
There was Ron Burke talking about many of his competitors on the weekend, but Ron Burke, he's in the Hall of Fame. He's top 10 trainer all time by wins, but look at that number. That just speaks volumes in itself.
Sure. And listen, not only do you have to have the horses, but you have to have the operation behind it, and he has both. And it's just a testament to the love, the care, and the details that go into it all to be that good.
Yeah, more than double there.
No contest.
Second place in wins, but there you see
out.
trainer Ron Burke, as he's got quite the evening, and he's of course got a ton of trotters and pacers that he's got going through the weekend. But he's got to take it race by race, much like we do here on the program. He's got to do it race by race, and I felt like when I was watching that feature and kind of that passing the torch moment, Sweet Lou's been a top sire for 2023, 2024, and Lou Print seems like he is on that track as well. He's still on track, but once he goes off track, it seems like he's kind of going to take the mantle from there.
Yeah, you would hope, and that's the goal, obviously, with a horse of his caliber, is to be able to not only show off his talents, obviously, on the racetrack, but then life after racing for him, which would be hopefully one of the best sires in the game. So as long as he can keep up the good work on the track and then be able to be, well, fertile enough, for lack of a better term, then we'll be looking at maybe some solid Lou Prints down the road.
Yeah, Lou Print, definitely one of the exciting ones. And then, of course, Lua Deepa. She's going to have a big shot, and she's 1-9 right now. It was hard for Paul to get off the 1-9 favorite, but we'll see if they can tackle Lua Deepa in this upcoming 7th race, which is coming up. Break time here real quick, as we will come on back, and we're going to set up that 7th race when we come back, as the 2-year-old filly Pace finals will be coming for us. So much more. We've kicked it off in a big way, but we're coming on back with those 2-year-olds, the filly Pace.
The Central Ontario Standardbred Association is working with you to ensure a vibrant horse racing community. Shared stories call for a united voice. That's COSA, representing the interests of horse people racing at Ontario racetracks. So whether you're first, last, or somewhere in between, we've got your back. With insurance, benefits, free lifetime memberships, and more. COSA. Follow our stories on social and check out the process at cosaonline.com.
A showcase of the finest 3-year-old trotters in the nation, the Hambletonian Stakes was first contested at the Syracuse Fairgrounds in 1926.
Away from the rest of the field, it is Guy McKinney to win the first Hambletonian.
Named after Risdick's Hambletonian, the father of the American trotter. In 1981, set against the backdrop of New York City, the Meadowlands Racetrack in East Rutherford, New Jersey became the latest and longest-running host venue. The urban stage for the most memorable moments.
And he's pouring it on! Mac Lovell has won! Here's the finish! Too close to call!
Operation Hambletonian complete! It's Muscle Hill, 150-1, equaling the world record!
10 horses, $1 million, and a dream to be the best.
Once a year, the greatest converge. 12 championship races, over $7 million on the line. History will be made. Legends will rise. In October 2026, Scioto Downs becomes the venue where speed meets destiny. The Breeders' Crown, harness racing's ultimate showdown. It all comes down to the Breeders' Crown.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races as we continue on this Breeders' Crown Friday night. It's for the 2-year-olds, and it's a gorgeous night out there in Canada. You take a look at Toronto, of course, 2-0 for those that are interested in the score of the baseball game.
Well, if you're a Dodger fan, you're interested. Not
Dodgers
if you're a Blue Jays fan at the moment.
West Coast fans just probably tuning into the game a little bit. All right, you know, Lua Deepa here in that 2-year-old Phillies pace. 1-9 currently. Big long shots all over the place. Dia's getting a little bit of action there at 8-1, but Lua Deepa, she's a deserving favorite. She's going to be tough to tackle in your eyes. $700,000 purse, but they don't just hand these races to you.
No, you still have to run the race, but based on the way that she looks, based on the way that she's coming into this race, based on the way that she raced last week, they're going to have their pacing shoes on to beat her because, honestly, she got moved and used, not once, not twice, but 3 times, and still basically won this race with ease. So, I mean, if she wasn't geared down, she would have buried them by even more in this spot. You could just see it in her body language, her mindset. She's just taken off.
Jenna Otten with plenty more with the driver, Ronnie Red.
Thanks, guys, as we are walking to the track for the 2-year-old filly pace Breeders' Crown final. Ronnie Wren Jr. will sit behind the favorite, Lua Deepa in here. What a sensational filly she's been all season for you.
Yeah, she's really gotten a lot better the last month, too, but she's been really nice all year long.
And you've drove a lot of horses throughout your career. What makes her different?
She's just got gears that other horses really don't have, and she does it so easy, really. So
we'll let you hit the track here, Ronnie. Good luck.
Thank you.
There is the Ron Burke trainee in Lua Deepa. We're going to see her in just a moment as the post-parade time coming up. $700,000. Here is the number 1. You're going to see a lot of long shots here with a big favorite, but that's better be a star.
3 straight third-place efforts for her. She has the benefit of drawing the rail once again tonight for the 3rd straight start.
Bob McClure will be driving the 2. She's a Bulldog.
Yeah, out of the great Bulldog Hanover, and one of Ron Burke's horses in this spot. Hasn't had a win this year, though, on the season. Still looking for that first one.
Definitely see some of these 2-year-olds just soaking it in on a big night like this, big championship night with those big trophies, of course. Here is Lua Deepa, 1-5. What else can you say? But she's been so dominant. Will she be able to keep that going?
Yeah, her body language, too. She just towers over the other fillies in this group.
All right, there's a good shot of your 1-5 favorite. Deserving favorite, of course, and Ronnie Wren Jr. There is the 4 at 39-1 in Hunting Memories.
Finished 8th last week from an impossible spot, coming from way off the pace.
Louis-Philippe Waugh has got the driving duties there. Talked about one taking the action here, 7-2 on the 5.
Legitimate second choice in here. A few stakes wins to her credit. She won the Eternal Damnation in the Battle of the Bells, but she's going to have to step up here to handle Lua Deepa, I think, in this spot.
Definitely going to have to step up at 4-1. There is 35-1 on air. That's the 6.
Yeah, going out for Noel Daly. Don't see too many Noel Dalys at that big of a price, but raced 5th last week, beaten 7.5.
And the number 7 will be coming up, and that's going to be Sangria Summer. Another big price here. Trevor Henry with the driving duties, and 72-1.
I don't think ran that badly, considering it was a 4th place effort, just 1 for 9 on the season, so one of her better efforts for sure last week.
And we were speaking about Yannick Gingras a little bit earlier. Another Ron Burke trainee here. That's going to be the 8. Big long shot once again, but that's going to be 43-1 on Seaside Shuffle.
This is the horse that I'm going to try to get into the exacta behind stablemate Lua Deepa in this spot. I think that she's had a couple of good races this year, and the Scarlet Championship over at Dayton comes to mind. So she's going to have to step her game up because she's been an in-and-out type this year, but we'll see what we get.
Tim Tetrick on the 9. Feature angle here. Ron Burke was walking by I'm a Lulu. There she is.
Yeah, he's got plenty in this field, so he's got plenty of chances to keep that feature angle going. 2nd last week from off the pace.
And towards the outside, tough post with the 10 is not for your liking, but that's Twin Bee Fierce Doug McNair.
Yeah, just 1 for 10 on the season this year. It's kind of been a step behind the bigger names in this division.
There is the field, as you have it, $700,000 there in the 2-year-old filly pace. And Lua Deepa right now is 1-9. Gabe, Jess, your thoughts here on a heavy, heavy favorite.
Well, I said in that first Breeders' Crown final, Gabe, that I didn't really want to take a short price. And, of course, Storybook Love got the job done. I think she was odds of like 4 or 5 to 1. In this case, I would take short odds on Lua Deepa. She's been sensational throughout her 2-year-old season.
Yeah, sometimes I say, Jess, a short price, well, it's better than a long face. So I think this is one that's just going to be very tough to get past, guys. I'll tell you how much respect track officials have for Lua Deepa here. Win, play, show, of course, some of the elementary bets in our game, depending on if a horse finishes first, second, or third, they've canceled show betting on this race. That means the track was maybe a little fearful. Who knows? They could have taken a 7-figure bet from someone, and they would have gotten the mandatory payout at just $2.10, so a 5% return on their money. They have wiped that off the map. So win, place, wager here with all the other exotics. She is just clearly the one to beat. Again, I think it could be a race against the teletimer. 149-2. That is the stakes record. She was just a fifth of a second off that in her elimination win that we took a look back at there, and that's where she was geared down. She went in 149-3. So it's going to be very interesting to see if she can set that new record.
Ronnie had a choice to make up the backside. Dexter was coming aggressively with a long shot, and he said, I didn't really want to get in too much of a horse race and maybe do something stupid up the backside. So he let Dexter go, and he kind of let Lua Deepa do what she wanted to do. When she was ready to go, she kind of pulled herself to the outside and went on there. There was a lot of moves to make during that first half of a mile, but she handled it like a pro. You had the chance to see her in Lexington, as did I, in the International Stallion Stakes. A world record performance, 148, 25-4 kicker, 8.5 length win. She was under wraps, it looked like. It didn't even look like she was going that fast, in my opinion.
No, it did not. She's the fastest 2-year-old filly in this sport's history. I mean, that's just an incredible moniker. Trader Ron Burke, we watched that feature on Roddy, 17 years in a row. He's been the sport's leading money-winning trader. Already this season, 2025 alone, he's over $25 million. If the season ended today, that'd already be his third best year. So he's been on quite a run. Obviously, the season does not end today. He's got plenty of more big ones here. Nothing, and including this one right here with Lua Deepa.
A true homebred for the Burke Brigade, of course. They were the trainers of Sweet Lou, and looks good in a romper. They're the owners and breeders on Lua Deepa. Ronnie was quoted earlier this week saying this is the best 2-year-old pacing filly he's ever had, and he thinks that they're going to have to try and figure out a way to beat her in here tonight. Dea, of course, post 5 for Jody Jamieson. Jack Darling does the training, owning, and the breeder on this one. Now, this is from the first crop, limited crop of Bulldog Hanover. We saw him back here in 2022. Gave what a sensational 2022 it was for him, but this is going to come from his first crop. Now, she couldn't quite get to Lua Deepa in that she was a Great Lady final. She did finish second. She was an elimination winner of that race as well. She's got a pretty nice 2-year-old campaign under her belt.
Oh, boy, does she ever. I mean, 10 of 11 on the board, over 400,000. Just she has not left Canada. So, I mean, it's been a great season there. You see Jody Jamieson in the bike there with his typical green and white in the sulky. But daughter Bulldog Hanover, as you said, the 2022 Horse of the Year. How good was Bulldog Hanover when he was the horse of the year? Well, he was breeding a few mares. 54 foals, part of that first crop. So it was a very small crop. Typically, horses will breed, usually over 100, closer to maybe the 140 mark. So just 54 in Bulldog's first crop, when it was a dual season of racing and breeding. 2 of those end up at the final here. The 5 Dea you just mentioned, also the 2, she's a Bulldog.
Gabe and I on board with the 3. Lua Deepa 1-9 on the Ron Burke trainee. We'll send it to Jenna to see what her thoughts are on race 7.
I am, yet again, going to be on a favorite, the 1-9 shot Lua Deepa. But, well, she is just a powerful 2-year-old. 48, came home 25-4. Ronnie Wren looked cool, calm, and relaxed in the bike. I asked him after that race, I said, did you know how fast you were going? He said, I knew I was going pretty fast, but I did not know I was going that fast. He looked at the teletimer, 148. World record popped up there for Lua Deepa. She obviously was sensational in that elimination as well. Just touched on it a little bit. Moved her twice before the half there, and she just sprinted clear of her rivals in the alone elimination for the 2-year-old filly pacers. We will look for her to also make it win number 5 in a row. She's got over $540,000 made. She looks to add a Breeders' Crown win to her resume. I did say I hate short prices. I knew we were going to get a 1-9 with Lua Deepa here. Everybody and myself on board with her 1-9 Lua Deepa in race number 7.
Thank you very much, guys. And yeah, this is dangerous territory here when you've got everybody on the 1-9 favorite. We just saw everybody on the 2 in the last race, and that didn't work. So we're going to see if Lua Deepa does get it done. If you're going to try and tackle her in this spot, Paul, how do you beat her here in this spot?
I think she beats herself. I mean, maybe somebody goes on a mission and tries to hook her if she gets to the top pretty quickly in this spot. I mean, when you look at the betting board, legitimately, Daya's the second choice. Probably should be, just based on what she's done this year. You know, she's got a couple of stakes wins to her credit, but she really hasn't been able to kind of figure out Lua Deepa when they faced each other. I'm on the 8 for a big price. The other Ron Burke was underneath.
All right. You like that exacta there with that price underneath? Let's find out more. $700,000 purse, 2-year-old Phillies Pace. Chad Rosema with the call.
11 so far. She's on a 4-race heater right now, which includes a track record performance here, a world record performance in Lexington. She's 1-9 on the board. Field for the 7th. At the top of the stretch. Here come the 2-year-old Pacing fillies for the Breeders' Crown Final. Freshman fillies pick up speed, and they're off. And leaving out of there sharply from post position 4 is Hunting Memories. Now down the center is Dea going forward with her Lua Deepa into the early mix as well. Along the rail to the top 4 is Better Be a Star. To the outside is On Air, parked in 5th. To the inside of that one, 6th. McClure with She's a Bulldog. Then Seaside Shuffle is going to settle along the pylon 7th in front of I'm a Lulu. The last pair of Sangria Summer and Trailer Twin Bee Fierce, 26-1. Quick opening panel for the 2-year-old Pacing fillies. Dea leads it, but here's Lua Deepa and Ren Jr. rolling in the backstretch here and set to assume command. It's Lua Deepa on the outside, getting in front of Dea, who's now going to follow the favorite with Hunting Memories 3rd. A length and a half in front of Better Be a Star 4th. On Air got a seat 5th. She's a Bulldog 6th and brought to the outside. And that gets McCarthy out of 5th with On Air. She'll be first up, so She's a Bulldog works with cover. 3rd over Seaside Shuffle. Locked inside is Sangria Summer. I'm a Lulu starting up 4th over from the back, and Twin Bee Fierce inside trails 54-3. The half-mile speed for Lua Deepa. She leads at 2 right now on Dea with less than 3/8 to go. On Air's up to 3rd. Inside 4th is Hunting Memories, and 2nd over is She's a Bulldog, up to 5th, swinging wide. Here's Jingra with Seaside Shuffle, 121 4 3/4, and they turn for the straightaway. And Lua Deepa in the Breeders' Crown Final opens up her advantage to 4 now on Dea, who chases. She's a Bulldog up the inside. Seaside Shuffle in the center of the track. Lua Deepa still well cleared late with less than a 16th to go. And Lua Deepa with a Breeders' Crown victory for her 5th in a row. Lua Deepa by 3.5 on She's a Bulldog and Seaside Shuffle in 1:49-1. It's a new stakes record. She equals the track and Canadian record. Lua Deepa on fire this year.
Lua Deepa at 1-9 gets the job done there impressively. An impressive performance. Almost got into that exacta Paul Verderosa. We'll come back to that. But Gabe, Jess, impressive performance, and she continues to just sparkle on the big stage.
She definitely continues to sparkle there, guys. Gabe, how about that first opening half? They tried to make things a little difficult for her. A nice quick opening panel there, 26-1. She was parked 2nd over before Dea finally let her go up the backside. Took her a bit to clear. We've known she's had some steering issues before Ronnie got her down to the rail, but she handled everything with like a pro.
She did. You see ears up and alert there after the line. She's ready to go around again, Jess, it looks like. I mean, just an absolutely effortless win. That's what's so amazing about it. She opens up, and keep in mind, she is facing the very best 2-year-old fillies in North America, but she is just in a different orbit. You heard the new record there, 149-1, so she eclipses my girl EJ, her stablemate from a couple of years back, also Ron Burke Trady. Her Breeders' Crown record equals a Canadian record here as well, so just another stellar performance. We can all appreciate greatness. I mean, whether no matter what it is, or what sport it is, it's just this is a champion filly, maybe one of the best ever, and it's going to be so exciting. Not only the year that she's had this year, and of course she'll get divisional honors, but this is a filly that's going to be back next year at 3, and how exciting is that going to see her back on the track here again, just cruising home here. And you saw Ronnie Wren take a look over his left shoulder. No one anywhere remotely close to Lua Deepa here. A big one as she scores the Breeders' Crown Final.
Talking about witnessing greatness, Gabe, the trifecta there. She's a Bulldog, was second. That's another Ron Burke trainee. He actually was quoted saying this week that was his best filly training down. They rounded out the trifecta. Jenna standing by with winning driver Ronnie Wren Jr.
Thanks, Jess. Get to catch up. There's the Breeders' Crown Final with Lua Deepa, adding a second Breeders' Crown to your resume. The 1-9. Any anxious moments really for her?
You know, honestly, she's been so good. I knew I could trust her, and she'd put a performance in tonight. She was awesome.
New track record in. I'm sitting behind her. She just has gears that other horses maybe don't.
Exactly. She has gears that other hero fillies really don't have, and I'm just really happy to sit behind her. She's really special.
How does it feel to be back in the winner's circle for your second ever Breeders' Crown victory?
It never gets old. I love this. Hopefully it's not my last one.
Congratulations, Ronnie. Best of luck throughout the whole weekend.
Thank you.
Lua Deepa dominant, trainer Ron Burke dominant. Paul, your thoughts there on her performance?
What I love about her is nothing phases her, right? She got stung out a little bit before she was able to clear. They went fast early, and she was still able to just stay well within herself and pace away from this field. Another thing to watch, too, you know, the two She's a Bulldog came up the inside again. We talked about how these first few races have played out trip-wise, and it doesn't seem horses on the outside are making that much hay, although I will say that Seaside Shuffle, the long shot who I like to try to get in the exacta, did have to go 3 wide at one point, and I think the trip ultimately hurt her from finishing in the second spot. But Ron Burke, 1, 2, 3 in this spot. That's why that man is number 1.
Yes, there they are, the happy connections. Kisses all around. Lua Deepa was dominant. She got the victory, and she just keeps on levitating through the standings as one of the top of her division. Hey, we're coming on back here on America's Day at the Races with plenty more. We're going to talk about some more veterans, not just those 2-year-olds here on FS2.
Armitage Farm is an up-and-coming standardbred breeding operation based in Midway, Kentucky, whose primary focus is on trotters. In their first ever consignment at Lexington this fall, Armitage Farm raised and sold the highest priced trotting colt of the entire sale. The Sponstead stable purchased the son of Captain Corey for $750,000, named Jim Doogie Armitage. Armitage Farm, trotting into the future.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races on a beautiful setting. Look at that as they'll be running through that lane. That's a gorgeous. You've ever been there?
No, I have not been to it by Mohawk. No.
All right. Well,
Looks
Gabe
nice,
and
though.
Jess can tell us how amazing it is. Jenna as well. They can tell us how gorgeous and whatever. It does look like a great night there. It's always great on a big night of racing to have really everyone come out and enjoy the festivities. There you see the blanket, of course, and that 2-year-old filly pace. Lua Deepa gets the blanket, gets all the cuddles, and she is your champ.
Yeah, no doubt. And she's just solidifying herself as being the top 2-year-old filly pacer, no doubt. She just added to her resume right there. It's going to be very exciting to see what she can do at 3. I mean, you know, when you watch the race for her, at this point, the race is over. I mean, if you had any anxious moments, it was early in the race when it took her a while to clear off past the quarter and then going a little bit fast to the half. But I mean, when you watch her body language in the stretch, I mean, her mind's all on business, and yeah, keeping her away from the pylons a little bit, but it doesn't matter because she is just focused and she is just pacing up a storm in the lane and no one even close. And it was her stablemates that ultimately ended up being 2-3 behind her.
Yeah, to see that much separation at this level, pretty not surprised to see. I mean, she was expected to do this, but it's just such a dominating victory visually, and just what a performance there. You do see the 1-9 favorite. Surprises underneath, I would say, as they did get rid of that show wagering, but you have a nice exacta $16 return.
Sure, no doubt. And Ron Burke got to be all smiles, running 1-2-3.
Look at that, a 20-cent super. Look at that. Look at what that paid. $187.
Not too shabby. With a 1-9 shot on top.
1-9 shot on top. There is Lua Deepa gets the victory. Race number 8 is going to be coming up. It's another Breeders' Crown race, of course. The Colts and Geldings going to be going in today's 8th. $700,000 purse, and right now Apex is the one taking all the money. 3-5, and that man, Dexter Dunn.
Yeah, your Mohawk Million winner coming back off a little time off. Had a nice qualifier, tightened up last week. We'll see from the rail if this horse can be the goods tonight.
There is the number 1 Apex again. You get the 2 Spencer Hanover, Diabolic Hill. Nice purse once again, $700,000. So you do see some of those top competitors coming in race number 8. And we've been enjoying the action throughout the evening. And of course, we're focusing on the 2-year-olds right now, but tomorrow we've got a lot of the older horses that are going to be going in some of those races. And one of those veterans is Lexus Cody, who we've seen, and Lexus Cody continues to just be very strong, especially at that age of 7.
It's amazing to think at age 7 that a horse could blossom and just take off, you know, because it's rare to see, but Lexus Cody has done just that this year. It's another sub 150 mile, you know, that we're looking at for this horse. And, you know, he did what he was supposed to do in that spot, and that was just win, you know, and be able to do it easily. And he's been so good this year, and it's just been start after start. You could just see the progression that he's had. So I think the key for him tomorrow is simple. Just leave and make the early move to the top and just take the race into your own hands, because that's the way he's just done it during this streak, to be honest.
All right, there you do see Lexus Cody, 36 wins from 88 starts, trained by that man Ron Burke, who just got the victory with Lua Deepa and continues to look forward to having a big weekend. But Lexus Cody, with those 36 wins, 11 seconds, just continues to be a top performer even at that age of 7.
Yeah, and again, at this age, that's rare. You know, you're in rarefied air when you can continue to do that at such a level like this and be able to do it easily and within himself.
$600,000 purse, a grade 1. And Lexus Cody's going to be your 6-5 favorite. Yannick Gingras will have the driving duties. And when you start thinking about Horse of the Year honors, I mean, Ron Burke, he's got quite a few in that discussion. Gabe, Jess, what do you guys think there of Lexus Cody and also some of those Horse of the Year honors as we're getting towards the end of the year?
Yeah, it is getting close to the end of the year with those Horse of the Year honors up for grabs. Now, Blueprint has led the Horse of the Year, the Breeders' Crown Hamiltonian Society poll throughout. I think there was maybe 1 or 2 weeks there in the middle of the summer where he wasn't racing. So, of course, people weren't going to vote for him on top. The debate is, if Blueprint loses tomorrow and Lexus Cody wins, can Lexus Cody be Horse of the Year? Now, before I let Gabe talk, I'm going to say that I think Lexus Cody has proven himself the last couple of months. Of course, he was the Open Preferred overnight rank horse in the beginning part of the season. He's really developed into himself this later part of the season, Gabe. But, you know, it's hard to go against Blueprint in the season he's had.
One thing I'll say, Jess, no one has a shorter memory the voters out
That
there.
is true.
You know, and they can be very hard on a horse after just a loss or two. Lou Print, I'll give you a perfect example. There are 35 voters. Lou Print was the unanimous #1 2 weeks ago. The one loss here last week by a nose, now just 28 of the votes. And guess what? Lexus Cody has grabbed a couple of those first-place votes. $1.5 million this year for the 7-year-old. He's making his Breeders' Crown debut here tomorrow night at the age of 7. The last horse to win the Breeders' Crown in his debut season at the age of 7 as a trotter was Sand Pell. Guess what? He was Horse of the Year that year as well. That was 2011. So I'll say not so fast. So I can see Lou Print is a heavy favorite in this. He's a heavy favorite to get it done tomorrow night, too, by the way. But if he loses, again, some of those voters, that can be awfully harsh.
They can.
Sometimes when they're making those end-of-the-year votes.
You know, I do have a vote week in and week out, and I think, you know, you have to take it week by week, but you have to take it overall as well, Gabe. Now, Lou Print, now he missed that middle part of the summer. Of course, he was scratched in that Meadowlands Pace final. They didn't have an elimination. They went straight to the final due to a little bit of a hiccup, you know, with his testicles. So for him to be sharp up until that point, have that surgery, and then have that time off and come back just as sharp, I think that speaks volumes for a 3-year-old.
Yeah, it's, you know, I had one removed. That was the hiccup. So, you know, it was, you know, obviously a tough journey for him. The connections reported the entire time. They thought it was going to be, you know, minor surgery, a little bit of a minor setback, but he's back and maybe better than ever, Jess. That's a scary thought for his rivals here tomorrow night.
It sure is, of course, like we'd mentioned. That first loss of the season came last week. Still raced tremendously, but it's definitely going to be a showdown tomorrow with an outside post for Lou Print. We'll send it back to Paul and Chris.
Thank you very much, guys, and no hiccups for Lua Deepa and trainer Ron Burke, as they did get the victory there in the last race that we did see. And let's hear from trainer Ron Burke more on her victory.
Joined here with the trainer Ronnie Burke as you just captured the 2-year-old filly pacing divisions with Lua Deepa. What a filly.
Yeah, no, she's special. I don't remember having a filly better than her. I don't even think I've had anything close, and I've had good fillies before, but she really special. You know, when she removes, it's just like it's over right now. She's just running on her own, you know, beating her own self is all she's running against right now. But, you know, I'm sure the other fillies will close on her, but right now she's on a special roll.
Ronnie had her parked past the quarter there pretty steadily. Any anxious moments for you during that time?
No, that was pretty much, we talked to Ronnie. Like, we haven't raced her like that. And, you know, we were worried about, you know, my other horses being in the way, honestly, too. And, like, and I said, you know what, just make sure, just keep going to the front. When you get there, you know, then we'll be where we want. And it worked out great. Like, I saw the other ones were charging to be second and third, too. So, you know, that's the second time we've done that. And that's really neat. That's, you know, I'm really proud of the group of fillies. They really put in a big effort today.
You've captured plenty of Breeders' Crowns throughout the course of your year, but now you're starting to do it more with the homebreds. Does it make it more special?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, the homebreds is where it's at. And especially, this is Looks Good in Lulu. You know, other than Mission Brief, she's my favorite horse, you know, in the last 10 years that I've trained. So, you know, it really has been special. So, yeah, like, it's really nice.
Congratulations, Ronnie, and best of luck all weekend long.
Thank you very much.
Honest opinion there from trainer Ron Burke, huh?
You gotta love that honest opinion. Just get the hell out of the way of my other horses, please, because we gotta get the job done. You gotta love Ron.
Lua Deepa getting the job done. We're gonna get out of the way here, but not for very long. Come on back, and we got those 2-year-olds, Colton Geldings, the Trot Finals. They're coming up on FS2.
We are athletes. We are drivers. We are caretakers. We are owners. We are trainers. We are fans. We are harness racing.
The Cup is calling at the Breeders' Cup with Naira Bets. Download the Naira Bets app or sign up at nairabets.com to get a $25 free bet and $200 deposit match bonus today. Watch live horse racing, get expert picks, and boost your bankroll with lucrative promotions. Play the Breeders' Cup World Championship with Naira Bets. New players sign up now to claim your $25 free bet and $200 deposit match only with Naira Bets.
Why wait for fortune to be revealed when you can make your own move? Because no one ever talks about the time they played it safe. So go ahead, press your luck, tempt fate, and claim your destiny. Because once in a lifetime, can happen every night. Welcome to a world that revolves around you. Your rules, your world. Resorts World.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race from every track on every screen every day. Monthly packages starting as low as $5 per month. RTN gives you great value and access to more HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit rtn.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races. We continue all the great action at Woodbine Mohawk in Campbellville, Ontario. And race number 8 is going to be coming up as Breeders' Crown coverage does continue here on FS2. $700,000 of the purse, and the number 1 Apex is taking all the money right now. Dexter Dunn with the driving duties at 3-5, but the number 3 Diabolic Hill sitting there at 6-1, 9-2. Some mid-range prices not far off, and we got a chance to catch up with one of those connections. Here is Jenna Otten talking about the number 3, her trainer, Annie Stobie and Diabolic Hill.
I'm joined here with trainer Annie Stobie, who sends out the Elim winner Diabolic Hill in the Breeders' Crown Final for those 2-year-old Colt and Gelding trotters. Annie, he was excellent in that elimination. He was good in the Mohawk Million up here, a qualified stellar, but again, he was tremendous in that Elim.
Yeah, he was definitely on his game, and I'm expecting no less than that tonight.
You stayed up here for the week in Canada. How was his week leading up to the final?
He had a great week. Nothing changed. He trained really, really good on Tuesday and settled right into detention.
And I'll ask you this. How important is it to win that elimination knowing you secured a good draw?
Well, I've had terrible draw luck the last couple months in big races, so for me, it was huge to be guaranteed inside.
And we're going to touch on your open mare trotter tomorrow night, Alyssa Hanover. She was excellent in her qualifier as well. You have to be happy with her coming into tomorrow as well.
Oh, I couldn't be happier and more excited with her. She's just a dream horse to have, and she just went out and did her thing.
You're making your 4th appearance in the Breeders' Crown Finals this weekend. It has to be exciting. Just touch on what it means to send horses to the track this weekend.
It's huge for me because with a small stable, I went on my own in 2020. So for 4 years in a row to make it this is my first year of having 10 horses. So it's pretty huge for me to make it 4 years in a row.
Annie, best of luck this weekend.
All right, thank you so much, Jenna.
Great to see trainer Annie Stobie. Very excited, of course, for the week coming up, or the weekend, I should say. There's the number 1, 2-5 right now in Apex post-parade.
Yeah, Mohawk Million, Houghton, New Jersey Classic winner, having a great season. 6 for 8 this year, over $1.1 million in the bank. See what the rail draw does for this horse, coming off a solid qualifying effort.
Dexter Dunn, always scary there on a big favorite. 2-5, heavy action right now on the 1 Apex. Some mid-range prices, though, right next door, and we're going to take a look at the 2 here in just a moment. But Jason Bartlett will have the driving duties, Marcus Melander the training duties, Spencer Hanover.
Yeah, hoping to get Jason Bartlett a Breeders' Crown win here. Nice, overpowering run last time out, trotting home pretty well in the lane in here.
Just heard from trainer Annie Stobie talking about the number 3 in Diabolic Hill, Todd McCarthy with the driving duties, 7-1.
It's the goods last week from the moment that he stepped on the track. So looking good there, too, in the post-parade here. She's got a serious player to win a crown tonight.
Yannick Gingras, maybe looking forward to that Lexus Cody drive, but of course right now he's got the 4, 23-1 on Nick Snacken.
Finished second, but was a well-beaten second by Diabolic Hill last week.
There is the 4, another big long shot. We're going to see a run of long shots here. There's the 5, Land the Plane.
Yeah, kind of just was one trotted around the track, but it was 3 3/4 lengths behind Diabolic Hill in that start.
There is the 5, the 6 coming up here, big long shot. That's the 6, Kingman.
Yeah, 2 for 9 this year for Per Engblom. We'll see what we get. It's going to have to do better. We'll see if we see some good early trot from this horse, though.
And next will be the 7. That's going to be LP Bay at 19-1.
2 starts back was not a bad effort. Winning a leg of the Ontario Sire Stakes for this horse. This is a step up for this horse, obviously, in this spot.
All right, Cambridge Hanover, Scott Zeron, the number 8. Big number, 98-1.
Yeah, still looking for the first win this season. Kind of a hard ask to get it in a Breeders' Crown final.
All right, and here comes another long shot in the 9. Going to be 38-1 on Kronos.
It's funny to see Ake Svanstedt not have some solid players, you know, at this level right now at this time of the year. Getting 37-1 if you like this horse, just 1 for 6 on the season. And was the favorite, too, last time out in that event.
And not sure who this horse is named after. Maybe somebody on the set here. I don't know. Maybe you, Paul. Mr. Big Spender. There's the 10.
Sometimes. So I'm interested to see, though, if they're going to leave with some good early trot from the gate with this horse, because I think this horse can be a player in here to kind of dictate how this race is going to go, especially early on.
All right, there is the field here coming up for this 2-year-old, Colton Geldings. Paul, your top choice, who did you go with here, your top selection?
I'm going to go with the 2 in this spot, Spencer Hanover. Got a perfect second over trip and overpowered them in the lane with pretty determined trot, to get the job done and stop the clock in 1:53.4. Came home in 26.3 in that spot. I guess all the money he took last week was smart money. And he's one of those horses that we talk about, Chris, that's putting his season together now, later in the year, at the right time. So I still say a horse like that, the trotting hopples that they put on have done it. It was a really solid effort. Let's see if he's got one more of those efforts in the tank for him. Get Jason Bartlett, who's having a great year, a Breeders' Crown win.
All right, you do hear who Paul likes, the number 2 in Spencer Hanover. There is the one in Apex. Kind of wondering if Dexter Dunn with the driving duties keeps pushing this price down. 2-5 right now, heavy favoritism. Gabe, Jess, your trackside. What do you see here for tonight's 8th?
Well, first and foremost, Chris, I agree with you on that. I think that with Dexter Dunn aboard, Apex won again, and he's coming off of that strong Mohawk Million win and a qualifier here last week. That is kind of diluting the price on him, Gabe, but I don't really think there's a whole lot separating maybe those inside 3.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of a short number on him as well. I mean, Dexter Dunn's never going to create an overlay scenario, let's be honest, but I still think just a little bit too much action on Apex. You talk about a horse just impeccably bred for the task at hand here tonight. He was over 800,000 as a yearling last fall. His father, Walner, won the Breeders' Crown at 2. His mother, Mission Brief, not only won the Breeders' Crown at 2, she's still the fastest 2-year-old trotting filly ever. And we're taking a look at her world record performance here. This is Apex's mom back in the fall of 2014 over the red clay at the Red Mile. She is going to rip off a monster mile here. You'll see Yana Jingra was the driver this day. She was wicked fast. Ron Burke, the trader, and she is just running up the score here. A 150.4, just accelerates away. And again, this is her colt here, the one Apex. She is the mom. And even her dad, Muswell, he won the Breeders' Crown at 2. So you really cannot get a better pedigree that you have here with Apex. The other thing here that concerns me just a bit, let's be honest, Apex has not raced since September the 20th. A lot of thoroughbred folks may be saying, hey, that's only a month ago, it's not so bad. Standardbreds typically race a lot more frequently. So Izzy is geared up. He didn't have to race in his elimination last week, Jess, because he did get that free pass here to the final by virtue of his win of the Peter Houghton. That gave him not only a free pass where he didn't have to race in the eliminations, it also ensured he drew for a good post 1 through 6.
That is for sure. He's going to get the rail. That's where he started it in the Mohawk Million as well. Now the 2 elimination winners are going to start just to his outside. There's a look at the 2. Spencer Hanover, Jason Bartlett. What a career season he's had. This one's coming off of back-to-back wins. One in the Big Apple at Vernon, one in the Breeders' Crown elimination here just a week ago, Gabe. And I talked to him after the race there, and he goes, I hope they mix it up front. I hope they get to the half a little quick there, because I think my colt is as good as them. He can track them down really late in the mile, and he thinks he suits Mohawk well.
Yeah, Jason Bartlett, the driver, is 9th all-time money-leading driver. No Breeders' Crowns. So, he's still looking to bank that first trophy. Just they added the trotting hobbles to the 2 Spencer Hanover recently, and you'll see the 3 there on the monitor. He's free-legged, so no hobbles around his legs. Just a free-legged trotter. The 2 Spencer Hanover, they added the gear on his legs there to help him trot, to stay trotting. Most trotters are free-legged, but since they've added the hobbles, Spencer Hanover, the 2, started his career 0 for 9. Now he's picked up 2 consecutive wins. Marcus Melander, the trader, said it was almost a bit of a confidence booster for him moving forward.
Annie Stobie has been super confident in her Diabolic Hill all season long. He's won half of his starts in his 2-year-old campaign. Todd McCarthy took over the driving just a couple of starts ago in that Mohawk Million. Right here at Mohawk Park, Gabe parked every step of the way, ended up finishing 4th, trotted home in 26.3, gave him a little time off, opted not to ship down to Kentucky, stayed right at home. He qualified good at the Big M. What a sensational elimination race he had last time out. Now I know they got to the half in 58. Don't get me wrong, I see that there. Horses were coming to his outside, and they end up going off stride, so there was no really forced pace there for that first half a mile.
Yeah, and Annie Stowe, we saw Jetta interview her a bit earlier. She grew up in Montana barrel racing, so she's a long way from home here. She also made another change a couple of starts back, Jess. They went from aluminum shoes to steel. Now, steel a little heavier, maybe not quite as fast, but obviously a lot more comfortable for Diabolic Hill. He couldn't have looked any better last missed out.
I will say I like the 5-to-1 price more on Diabolic Hill than the 2-to-5 price on Apex. Let's see what Jenna has to say about race 8.
I'd have to agree with you that I do like the price on Diabolic Hill better than I like the price there on Apex, as he is the heavy favorite, but deservingly so. I heard Gabe touch on it a little bit too. He hasn't raced in over a month since that impressive performance in the Mohawk Million. Don't get me wrong, it was a solid prep qualifier last time out as well, and obviously he has done some amazing things this season. He has yet to miss the board. Has over $1 million made, and it was a good prep mile. We'll see if it's enough to get it done in his Breeders' Crown final.
And taking a look at the number 1 there in Apex, getting set. Last thoughts here, Paul, before we get started.
I hope Spencer Hanover, finds the right trip in here, and I hope there's going to be some mixing up on the front end with some good early trot at the beginning and half part of this mile to set things up for someone from off the pace, and I'm hoping it's Spencer Hanover.
We've seen some great paces and trots so far on tonight's show. Plenty more to come. It's our 3rd of the 12 here on the weekend Breeders' Crown. 2-year-old Colton Gelding, $700,000. It's the trot. Chad Rosema with the call.
Aiming for the same goal, to hoist that Breeders' Crown trophy. It's post time for race number 8. Two-year-old Colton Gelding trotters lined up behind the gate for their Breeders' Crown final. Here they come. And there they go. They're off and trotting. And there's Kingman along with Mr. Big Spender. They both leave alertly from their respective post. Into the top 3 from the inside, done with Apex. He's followed to the opening turn by Spencer Hanover, one of the 2 elimination winners. That one's going to be followed by the other elim winner, Diabolic Hill. Parked to the outside in 6th, the Gingras now sliding along the pylons with Nix Nacken ahead of Land the Plane. Then it's I'm Kronos. LP Bay is next to last. Cambridge Hanover, the early trailer. Everybody's got a seat through a 28-4 opening quarter. Mr. Big Spender and Mike Wilder lead the way by nearly 2, heading up to 3/8 on Kingman in 2nd. Apex trotting in 3rd. Then Spencer Hanover 4th. Diabolic Hill sits 5th in front of Nix Nack in 6th. To the inside, scooting up is Jameson with Land the Plane to pick up some ground. I'm Kronos follows him. LP Bay to the outside, then Cambridge Hanover. It's Mr. Big Spender still on top, with Kingman his closest rival. They're now with the move. First up, out of 3rd. Here's done with Apex. 57-4 the half-mile speed, and Apex is now brought to the outside and begins to accelerate on the turn to 5/8, with Spencer Hanover riding his cover. To the inside up to 5th now, Land the Plane. 3rd over is Diabolic Hill, then Nix Nack into the outside. I'm Kronos, LP Bay, and Cambridge Hanover heading to 3/4 next. Mr. Big Spender from the 10 hole is now getting match strides by Apex on the outside. They're to 3/4 in 1:25. 27-1 pickup there, and Apex on the outside as the sprint is on. Pokes a nose in front. Mr. Big Spender fighting back. Off cover, Spencer Hanover is all out here for Bartlett, trying to close, and Diabolic Hill even further out. Inside, Mr. Big Spender, Apex, and Spencer Hanover continues to close on the outside, and Spencer Hanover gets up for Jason Bartlett to capture the Breeders' Crown in 1:53-2.
Might have taken him a few seconds there to get to the front. Spencer Hanover in what was a really, really chaotic finish as they all finished with the flurry. The 2 Spencer Hanover gets the job done. Gabe, Jess, what did you think of that performance of that race? Impressive.
Well, it was definitely going to be a tough task. First over, long time for Apex, Gabe, as he was out a long way. But Spencer Hanover, like Jason Bartlett said, he wanted them to mix it up front. He got a perfect second over trip.
Yeah, he really did, Jess. He got to draft in behind the favorite. Not only do you like following horses, but you really like following horses that are going to take you where you want to be. And you've got a horse like Apex, who we knew had a big shot at here, but when he was left uncovered, he was not drafting off anyone there on the outside. That was just a little bit too tough of a trip for him, I think, particularly when he had missed over a month. So it was Spencer Hanover who got to follow him up. We had mentioned he added those trotting hobbles. You'll see him on his legs there crossing the line. Since he added those hobbles to help with his stride, he's won 3 in a row. He's just been on a very good run. Again, started his career 0 for 9, now 3 for 3, and he takes a big one here with Spencer Hanover. Again, Jason Bartlett, the very first Breeders' Crown of his career. He ranks number 1 right now in 2025 amongst all drivers in earnings over $13 million. He's going to add quite a bit to that bankroll here with a big win with Spencer Hanover. Marcus Melander, the trader, that's his 6th Breeders' Crown Trophy. Again, the trip just could not have set up any better for Spencer Hanover as he gets to follow the favorite and to roll off down the lane to pick up a mild upset here. Co-second choice at 4-1.
You know, talk about Jason Bartlett, Gabe. This is the first year he's really traveled the Grand Circuit ranks. He's kind of left his home state in that Yonkers Raceway there, and it's really paid dividends for him.
Yeah, it really has. But slightly, year after year, he appeared in a couple of Breeders' Crowns here and there. This was his 11th appearance at a Breeders' Crown. Did have a couple of seconds, but he is banking a big year, a career year, almost a breakout year. Jason Bartlett, typically a New York guy. He's based at Yonkers Racetrack there in Yonkers, New York. Travels that New York circuit quite a bit. He's been more on the national stage this year than ever, and you see why. Paying off here, getting live drives from the likes of Trevor Marcus Melander, and he delivers here with a perfect trip winner.
Yeah, good big congratulations to Jason Bartlett. All smiles in the winner's circle as Jenna's going to catch up with him.
Thanks, guys. Jason.
New York guy? I got a New York guy sitting right here, Paul, and you see Jason Bartlett getting the victory.
So happy for Jason to get this win because great guy. Was able to chat with him quite a bit when I was at the Meadowlands for not only Hamiltonian but Meadowlands Pace Night. And Jason's aggressive when he needs to be with horses, and sometimes he lets them dictate where they need to go. And he's done it perfectly with Spencer Hanover in the last few starts. And I think the trotting hobbles for sure helped this horse. And I also think it's a case of, as we talked about before, horses develop over time. And this guy has just gotten really good at the right part of the year and was able to seal the deal and get himself a Breeders' Crown. This is a nice turnaround in 3 starts from this horse.
Yeah, you did see Spencer Hanover kind of took a second there to kind of get going as you saw them coming through the lane.
I wonder, too, and we said this early on, if the outside part of the track just is not the best part of the track, but still found a way to grind them down with that late trot off a perfect second over trip behind the favorite Apex.
This 2-year-old Colton Gelding's trot there going to the number 2 and Spencer Hanover. A nice victory. Congratulations to those connections, and we're going to talk about plenty more. Mickey and Minnie, excuse me, a dominant year. Taking a look at Mickey and Minnie when we come on back from a break. So much more, so many more winners here on FS2.
All sports dynasties share one thing.
Home run! Another world championship!
They dominate.
Bulldog Hanover, then Rocky Road Hanover, Line Drive Hanover, and a Buckabet Hanover. It's Bulldog Hanover, 1:45.4, the fastest mile in harness racing history.
Purchase Hanover yearlings at Harrisburg. Hanover Shoe Farms, a standard bred dynasty.
It doesn't get any better than that. Wow!
British Crown Night, welcome back to America's Day at the Races here on FS2, and you see another beautiful blanket going on. The number 2 in there, Spencer Hanover with the big victory. Trainer Marcus Melander picks up another victory, and Jenna Otten, she had a chance to catch up with that New York guy, that New York driver Jason Bartlett, after that victory.
Thanks so much, guys. Joined here with the winning driver, Jason Bartlett. And Jason, we've seen you more on the national scene this season, and it's paid off.
Yeah, get the opportunities a little bit more now, and I put myself out there a little bit more than just New York and Yonkers. But you know what, I love being home. But when you drive these type of horses, you have to travel for them.
You've participated in plenty of Breeders' Crowns, but this was the first year that you've kind of went into it with a little bit of power, and Spencer Hanover proved himself in the elimination. Second over there, second over behind a live horse here. You had to like your chances at the top of the stretch.
Yeah, I was following the right horse, and try to give him the right spot and see what we can do from there.
Well, I look over and see the inquiry sign lit. Do we know what that's about?
I guess.
Yeah, no idea. Well, live TV, so we will wait this one out, I guess. No clue.
All right, and here we go back with that, and you did see, or hear Jenna Otten talking about the inquiry, and not quite sure because Jason Bartlett, I'm sure, just receiving that news too. Paul, what'd you see?
I think it was when he kind of came out a little bit in the stretch, but I think he was clear the first time. A second time, maybe he got out a little bit, maybe was in the path a little bit of Diabolic Hill. See, so watching right here. Okay, so he's straight. He comes out a little bit right there. He's clear. He drifts in a little bit. Comes back out again. But, yeah, I don't – it was clear. I don't really see it. Right there, Diabolic Hill's behind him. Just keeping a straight course. Gets out a little bit right there. Again, he's in front of him. I'm right there. And right there again. He was in front of him. Diabolic Hill makes a charge late. I really don't think this was going to make a difference. But
and do want to point out, we're not entirely sure what exactly they're looking at. We're kind of speculating what they could be taking a look at.
It's got to be the stretch run here. See, he comes out a little bit right there. Still straight. Comes out again a little bit right there. But again, he was clear of him. Now he brings him back to the inside. He corrected him. And then they come to the line. Never going by him. I don't know. Again, this is,
It's speculative of what they're taking a look at right now, but you do take a look at the head-on replay, and if it is about some of that drifting that you are seeing from the winner, they do post the inquiry sign because they want to take a look at it. $700,000 on the line here in a big race like this, so you do see the inquiry sign go up, and it's not official until it's official, and now we're getting a couple vantage points at it, so the stewards are taking a pretty strong look at this. Gabe and Jess, you guys are trackside. Help us out a little bit. What are we taking a look at here with Spencer Hanover?
Well, first and foremost, in my opinion, a little bit of a late inquiry, to get your picture taken and then throwing up that late inquiry sign there, Gabe. But in my opinion, it looked like he still had clearance late in the stretch both times when he kind of changed paths there, but still looked like he was ahead of Diabolic Hill in both of those efforts of moving.
He was ahead, but, you're going to see him drift, and, you must maintain your lane. Once you choose your lane through the stretch, horses by nature, when they begin to tire a little bit, they will drift. So I think that's what you saw in the late stages there. Spencer Hanover just started to drift out, a little bit through the stretch. And obviously Diabolic Hill, the argument can be made, as Paul said, was he ever going by there? Probably not.
Yeah.
But, also if you're going by the letter of the law, did Spencer Hanover maintain that lane the entire way down the stretch? That also comes into question here. So big money on the line. I do see that inquiry still up. As they continue to investigate this stretch drive. You said a little bit late, but adding a little more intrigue here to night one of the Breeders' Crown.
Yeah, for sure there, Gabe, but usually you'll see it. Oh, it looks like the inquiry sign has come off of Spencer Hanover. It's still unofficial. We'll send it back to the guys at the desk for their thoughts.
Thank you very much, guys. And, taking a look at that inquiry, we'll find out what that result's going to be. But letter of law, if we're talking about that as far as drifting through the lane, and you do see those head-on angles, and we see it a little bit on the thoroughbred side when you talk about herding and kind of staying in your path. Maybe this is kind of like that similar situation.
Yes, and sometimes it tends to be subjective on both ends, and I think he was clear in this spot. That's my opinion, and I think he was clear, and I don't think there should be a change.
Okay, does sound like there was not a change that was made. It does sound like it is official. We are taking a look at the head-on, and you see a little bit of the drifting. Paul, go ahead.
Sure, and listen, he corrected him the first time. He drifted again a second time. You see the correction, And for me, he was clear. You know, I think that was the biggest part of this for me, was he was fully clear of Diabolic Hill when the drifting happened. So for me, I don't think there should be any change, and there wasn't, and I think it's the right call, ultimately.
All right, so a few anxious moments there for some of the connections, but they end up with the celebration. Maybe had to sweat it out for just a moment, but they do get the job done there. So Spencer Hanover wins today's 8th race, and we're going to talk plenty more about Mickey and Minnie coming up. That's going to be some of our action tomorrow when we have our coverage on a Saturday night. It's the 3-year-old fillies, Mickey and Minnie. Right there in the middle here, Dexter Dunn, 6-5. Going to be a deserving favorite in this spot.
Absolutely. You know, coming off a track and Canadian record in the race we're about to see, equaling performance, I should say, for that. And it was about basically where she's able, put herself, you know, in the early stages of a race. She is able to position herself, whether it's in the front or a tracking spot, and she does it very easily. So the position she got early in the mile paid dividends in this spot for her to be able to get the job done in here. You know, she added Lasix last week, which I think helped her out in the spot, and I think she's the horse to beat tomorrow night for sure for Chris Ryder.
All right, we're going to find out what happens. Plenty more tomorrow, as we've got 4 tonight. We've got 8 tomorrow, so we've got a jam-packed schedule with a ton of those Grade 1 races, but 12 over the 2 nights, and you do see those races there, as we're going to be jam-packed with action here on our Saturday schedule.
Yeah, it's just going to be one race after another of great action, and I love what Breeders' Crown does. Just like on the thoroughbred side, you have a specific day for 2-year-olds, and then you have 3-year-olds and up on the next day, and I think it's a great thing because you get to showcase the different ages and the different groups and talents, and everybody gets their own day, so I love it.
Really looking forward to that. Hopefully you've enjoyed all we've got going on tonight. We're not done yet here tonight, but we've got all that great stuff tomorrow, so come on back and join us. Race number 8 did wrap up. It did go official. Spencer Hanover does get the victory. 4-1, nice price here at 1040.
I'll take it as a top selection. Never going to knock when you can beat a big favorite. It just wasn't Apex this night with the trip that Apex got in there, but good effort too from Diabolic Hill. You know, we talked about Annie Stovey doing a great job with her horses, and Diabolic Hill raced excellent again tonight in the final.
And Mr. Big Spender, I mean, how big a mile did he go?
Yeah, happy for Mike Wilder and the connections. We talked about that horse potentially having the ability to dictate how terms were going to go, and this horse from Post 10 fired out of there.
Yeah, I'm sure some folks out there very proud of how game he was on the inside there in that 8th race. Race number 9, $700,000 purse. The 2-year-old Colton Geldings in this Breeders' Crown 1 mile, and we're looking forward to this race coming up as we got plenty of action. But any early thoughts here on today's night?
They're going to have to beat Bojangles, I think, in this next race in his own backyard. It's going to be tough.
Still plenty more to come. We've got another 2-year-old exciting race coming up here with that 1 mile pace. Come on back. Plenty of coverage, anxious moments sometimes here on America's Day of the Races.
Once a year, the greatest converge. 12 championship races, over $7 million on the line. History will be made. Legends will rise. In October 2026, Scioto Downs becomes the venue where speed meets destiny. The Breeders' Crown, harness racing's ultimate showdown. It all comes down to the Breeders' Crown.
The Cup is calling at the Breeders' Cup with Naira Bets. Download the Naira Bets app or sign up at nairabets.com to get a $25 free bet and $200 deposit match bonus today. Watch live horse racing, get expert picks, and boost your bankroll with lucrative promotions. Play the Breeders' Cup World Championships with Naira Bets. New players sign up now to claim your $25 free bet and $200 deposit match only with Naira Bets.
Armitage Farm is an up-and-coming standardbred breeding operation based in Midway, Kentucky, whose primary focus is on trotters. In their first ever consignment at Lexington this fall, Armitage Farm raised and sold the highest priced trotting colt of the entire sale. The Sponstead stable purchased the son of Captain Corey for $750,000, named Jim Doogie Armitage. Armitage Farm, trotting into the future.
The Central Ontario Standardbred Association is working with you to ensure a vibrant horse racing community. Shared stories call for a united voice. That's COSA, representing the interests of horse people racing at Ontario racetracks. So whether you're first, last, or somewhere in between, we've got your back. With insurance, benefits, free lifetime memberships, and more. COSA. Follow our stories on social and check out the process at cosaonline.com.
Lou Print has dead aim on the outside and pours it on. Captain Optimistic needs to do more. Sipping on Sea Rock, zips through on the inside. Fallout digging in. Lou Print trying to get to him and doing that. It's Lou Print. Lou Print tight there.
You're going to hear his name a lot there, Lou Print, taking a look at last year's 2020-24 edition. And Lou Print comes back here tomorrow, looking forward to a big effort, but Lou Print exceptional that night.
Yeah, and sipping on Sea Rock, stablemate again. So another Ron Burke horse. And we'll see if they can battle each other again tomorrow night like they did last year in this spot. Should be a great race.
Yeah, definitely the headliner. He's been at the top of the polls, and he's going to be the headliner tomorrow for sure. Taking a look at tonight and the $700,000 purse, as I said, Bojangles 2-5 right now. Bob LaCour with the driving duties. This is another head favorite. Are we going to see if Bojangles can get it done? Jenna Otten with more with the connections.
I'm here with Dr. Ian Moore, who's going to send out the 2-year-old sensational colt, Bojangles. First and foremost, an undefeated streak on the line here for the Breeders' Crown Final. It's got to be fun to come into it like that.
It sure is. It's been a great season. We've enjoyed every minute of it, and no matter what happens tonight, we're very proud of him. We're very fortunate to have him, and we're all glad to be here.
It's going to be his toughest task to date, but every time that you guys have asked for this guy to respond, he has.
Yeah, he has so far, and that's getting late in the year. You've heard me say that in previous interviews, I guess, but hopefully he can hang in there for one more.
What was his week like leading up to tonight's final?
Very good. Had a couple of days off after the elimination. He has to get paddocked every day or he gets upset before he jogs. So he's not my first one to jog in the morning, but he's usually the second. So he jogged jogged Monday, Tuesday, and then trained lightly on Thursday, and a paddock and a light jog yesterday, and he's here in retention tonight, ready to go.
And we'll get a quick comment on your 3-year-old pacing colt. That would be Prince Hal Hanover. He won his elimination. He secured a good draw. He got post 3. You have to be happy with his elim.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. He's had some bad draws throughout the summer and a lot of, bad racing luck the way things have gone for him. He's been a pleasure to be around that guy. I just love that guy, so I'm going to hate to see him go when that time comes, but we're looking forward to tomorrow night very much.
Doc, you have an incredible resume. You look to add Breeders' Crown Trophy number 2 to it. Best of luck this weekend.
Thanks very much. Appreciate it.
Great stuff from there, and on the conditioning there, Bojangles just keeps on going out and doing it. 11 for 11.
Yeah, the way he turned away Frantic Hanover last week was super, super solid to see, and just shows why he's got a heart of a champion. He's turning into one, And I'll tell you this much, too. As Dr. Ian Moore said, it's getting late in the season, for him, and he's run quite a number of times, probably more than Dr. Ian Moore probably wanted to start him. But when you look at him, physically, his demeanor, the way he looks, comes down the stretch in this race, he still looks great. You could see it in his eyes, his body language. It's hard to keep him that way, but this is his backyard. And every time that they say, this is going to be the toughest field he's faced, this is the toughest task he's going to have, he stepped up each time. So until somebody beats him, he's the king, and I'm not playing against him.
It does feel like cherry on top kind of thing there for Bojangles, because Ian Moore, his trainer there, you did hear, he's done so much already. No matter what happens here, very proud of him, and big season. Could really just cap it off tonight.
Yeah, keep him going. 11 for 11, over $1 million in the bank. I mean, you can't ask for anything more, out of a 2-year-old.
Post-parade time is going to be coming up here in just a moment, but we're going to talk about the number 2 here, who is 5-1, and that's Brandon Boulevard.
So it's funny when you watch this race. We talk about Bojangles, and actually Brandon Boulevard set a track record that Bojangles had and a Canadian record, which Sweet Lou had in 2011. So talk about bigger named horses with this win. But listen, he got a perfect trip in this race. I'm not going to deny it. Decent horse and Al Papi behind him. Long shot in this race, kind of set the table up for it to be fast because went out there and paced some fast fractions. But he's got a lot of versatility to him. That's what I like about him. You can race him on the front end. You can race him off. Gives you a solid effort each time he's out there. 7 for 9, no worse than second in 9 career starts, closing it on $500,000. So good matchup coming with Bojangles, but again, until you beat the best. You know, you're going to have to step up here, and I think he's going to have to do so again.
Here's the number 1 here, post-parade time. Show me your ace, Dave Miller.
Second behind Bojangles last time out, so looking for another trip from probably off the pace from that rail draw.
We were just talking about the number 2 in Brandon Boulevard and Dexter Dunn. We haven't seen him get the job done here tonight, but you know he's going to be well-meant here, and I think put on a big drive. Right there's the 2, Brandon Boulevard.
Yeah, we'll see what we get from this Andrew Harris trainee. Just talked about him coming in on a 3-race win streak so far.
Luadipa won earlier. This is not Luadipa here coming up, but 8-1. That's going to be Melillo. You got Ronnie Red. You get Ron Burke. You get 8-1.
Keep an eye on this horse late because he's got some sneaky late pace in the mile, and he dove down to the inside last time, and diving down to the inside has been working well tonight.
Ron Burke trains another one here, and that's going to be the number 4 at 28-1.
Yeah, not a bad horse. Has taken money, too, in the last couple of starts. Just ended up 3rd last time out in that race where Brandon Boulevard just blazed down the road late.
Guess what? Ron Burke has another one in here, and that's going to be the number 5, Tim Tetrick with the driving duties. We're going to talk about the 15-1 shot here in Frantic Hanover.
7 for 10 this year, a couple of seconds, too. A lot of it was in Pennsylvania with the Sire Stakes and the Stallion Series, but this is a step up for sure. The horses run well this year.
Bob McClure will be driving your current 1-2 favorite here as the price kind of goes up and down. That's Bojangles.
Yeah, it looks good. On track again, too. I mean, eyes up, looking around, taking it all in, knows it's his own backyard. So come and beat him if you can.
Big long shots here towards the outside. Your next 4 that we're going to see, and the number 7 is going to be the first one of those in Windor.
Yeah, going to have to step up here with Doug McNair in the bike. Just 2 for 10 on the season. It was a non-threatening 5th last time out.
James McDonald will be driving another long shot here in the 8 at 85-1.
Yeah, the win a couple of starts back was against a lot less than this horse is facing today. Was 5th in the limb race last week, beaten 5 by Bojangles at a big number.
Talked about Ron Burke being loaded. He's got yet another contender in here. Here is the 9, Tom McCarthy to drive.
Yeah, he wasn't kidding when he said that he had 25 horses in the Breeders' Crown. So 3rd beat a length and a half by Bojangles. Wasn't a bad effort for this horse, who's had a decent enough season. Made almost $500,000.
Can the New York guy do it again? Here is the 10 fragment.
We'll see what Jason Bartlett can do from a far outside post. Was 2nd behind Brandon Boulevard last time out. He's taken money, you know, in that start as well. So it's going to be up against it. Have to find a trip from way out there.
Jessica Otten, Gabe Pruitt with plenty more on the 6, Bojangles.
Well, I think this is the one a lot of people have been waiting for, Gabe, especially those home connections here at Woodbine Mohawk Park. Bojangles 1-2 on the board right now from post 6 for Docky and Moore and Bob McClure. 2 stars, of course, at this track as well. He's the only horse coming into this this weekend, Gabe, with a perfect streak on the line.
Undefeated. He's the richest 2-year-old in the sport, Jess, over $1.2 million throughout that 11-race win streak. You know, here's the question. You know, he's gone to the front end every start. He's been used so hard. After a certain amount of time, you know, that can really have its way of catching up with you. You see him out there on the track. I mean, he doesn't look like a 2-year-old. He looks like an older horse. But he is a professional, and he is a street fighter. You saw Jetta catch up with his trainer, Dr. Ian Moore. And what a cool guy and a great trader as well. But Dr. Moore, also a vet. He's also a pilot. Race 1 at the Little Brown Jug this year.
Did you know that?
Yeah, and flew himself in his own plane. So just a bit of a unique pass. He's from Prince Edward Island. He does have 1 Breeders' Crown win, as Jetta mentioned. He trained one of the greats, Shadow Play, that we all remember. Shadow Play had only 1 fault. He was born the same year as Some Beach Somewhere. So he was a runner-up in 2 Breeders' Crowns, so one of the greatest of all time. But he's been a successful trainer for a long time. And, you know, this, you know, could be, who knows, a long way to go here for a 2-year-old. But, you know, maybe his best ever, the undefeated Bojangles.
Docky and Moore, of course, an incredible horseman. You see Bojangles on your screen right now. He looks more like a 4-year-old, Gabe. He's big. Look at those ears. They're, you know, flipping all over the place. They're up and down and forward. He's a tremendous-looking animal. Had the first time of seeing him in person last weekend. It was extremely awe because you see him on the TV screens all the time. Had a chance to look at him up close and personal last weekend, and Doc said, you know, he's enjoying the ride, that's for sure. He's extremely confident in his colt and proud of his colt, but this is going to be a deeper field than what he's seen even in the Metro Pace. A lot of more American-based horses in this Breeders' Crown final, including that horse on your screen. That's Brandon Boulevard. He's 3-1 on the board right now, Gabe. This horse comes from the Andrew Harris barn. Dexter Dunn took over the driving, 3 starts ago. He's 7 of 9 in his 2-year-old campaign, of course, by the Great Down by the Seaside. Those fractions set up pretty hot for him last week. 25-2, 52-4 to the half. and he picked up the pieces at the end of the mile. He set a track record there, beat Bojangles' track record, actually. And Andrew Harris is pretty confident in his colt. You know, the best, I think, thing in his playbook tonight, Gabe, is the only time he's had to travel was up to here last week.
Yeah, he was based in Lexington throughout most of the summer. Andrew Harris, his trainer, over 1,200 wins, but still looking for his first Breeders' Crown. Brandon Boulevard, a solid colt, Jess. I mean, he's been first or second in all 9 starts, 7 of those winning efforts. Really, a couple of the times he got beat, it looked like he was on the lead, and he almost just got a little lonely. So maybe just, a little green, still learning how to race, of course, here at the age of 2, but, a tough competitor. This is the very first time that we have seen him hook up with Bojangles.
Malello, post 3, a Ron Berg trainee, a homebred for the Berg Brigade. Let's go about 4 starts back where you see a second-place finish. He got beat by odds-on Mr. Mamba, who set a world record at Hoosier Park just a couple of weeks ago, about a month ago, Gabe. He had 2 wins down in Lexington, Kentucky. Last week, you see that line? He was interfered with a bit early in the stretch. He kind of got half taken out there before pacing home extremely sharp. He didn't really get going until near the wire. He's beat 2 1/4 lengths. He was past Brandon Boulevard, just past the wire. So he was absolutely loaded with pace after he kind of got wiped out there a little bit.
I think it's a sneaky long shot. I actually like Malillo in here quite a bit. 8 to 1 on the board right now. You saw a little bit of flash there. He's got that white blaze on his face, just like his father, Sweet Lou. So cool, marked horse. But as you said, Jess, a lot of traffic trouble. You saw that replay there we showed back in the elimination last week a bit earlier. He was locked in there and absolutely flying late. But when he got clearance, the party was over there. I ended up finishing a very close 4th, but a nice post here. One of 4 starters for trainer Ron Burke. I think Malillo, by far the best of the Burke foursome, 8 to 1. I think a good price as well. He's going to have to hope Bojangles gets, banged up a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe they go to war early with Brandon Boulevard and Bojangles. If that is the case, I think Malillo is going to have a big time say here.
The toughest task to date on the favorite right now, the 6, 1 to 2 on Bojangles, the hometown horse, the hometown favorite here at Woodbine Mohawk Park. Back to you guys.
Thanks so much, guys. There is a 6 in a 3 to 5. 6 right now in Bojangles, a 3 to 5. But another horse you kind of want to take a second glance at here, and that was the 10 who we just saw on our screen in Fragment.
Yeah, this horse took money last week, was a solid second to Brandon Boulevard, especially when you consider the final time. And then when you pick through his past performances, his other losses lately came at the hands of Bojangles, and he wasn't exactly disgraced in those. In the Metro, he had an impossible post in the final in post 9 and couldn't really do anything from that. And he's shown that he can hang with some good horses. I'm not sure he can break through the win in this spot, especially with post 10. But if you're looking to pair someone up and you're going to use the favorite in here in Bojangles, I think the 10 could be a little bit sneaky along with the number 3 Malillo underneath.
All right, there you have it. We've heard our selections here from the desk, and it's just time for the race. It's time for the pace. 1 mile, $700,000 purse. Race number 9 here on the program, and the last one for the 2-year-olds that we're going to see here on this Friday night. But this is going to be one more big effort, and we'll see if the 6 Bojangles continues to stay undefeated. It's up next. It's track announcer Chad Rosema with the call.
On the line against 9 other talented freshmen. Brandon Boulevard, who established the new track record last week, is at 5 to 2, 8 to 1 on 3 Malillo. As the guys talked about, troubled trip, but clearly live in the stretch. It's post time for race number 9. Breeders' Crown Final for the 2-year-old. Pacing Colts and Geldings are at the top of the stretch. Here they come to a start. And there they go. And they're off in the Breeders' Crown, and U-Brute tries leaving out of there from the outside. Another Burke pupil into the mix early with Al Poppy. And then Brandon Boulevard, and there's Bojangles on the outside 3rd. To the inside is Show Me Your Ace. Parked out in 5th. After initially leaving out of there is U-Brute. Looks like he's going to backpedal now. So picking up a position to the inside is Malillo. Frantic Hanover follows him. Then Windor. Back to P.A. Luke and Fragment. Continuing to battle up front here as Dunn chases along Brandon Boulevard. And Brandon Boulevard, 27-second opening quarter, but he now clears to the lead. On the outside, he's set to deal with Bojangles. And Bojangles and Bob McClure, with the button pushed, are trying to go forward of Brandon Boulevard, who on the inside stretches him out a bit. Al Poppy in behind this pair 3rd. It's 2 more lengths to Show Me Your Ace 4th. Then Malillo in 5th, followed by Frantic Hanover. Windor up the inside to save ground. U-Brute to the outside, then P.A. Luke and Fragment. They are halfway home in 54. Bojangles now leads it. A length and a half into this turn on Brandon Boulevard, and an uncovered Show Me Your Ace who continues to make gains. Right on his back, a perfect trip being mapped out here by Ren Jr. with Malillo. He's up to 4th. Inside, locked up 5th. Al Poppy 3rd over to Frantic Hanover, then Windor. You Brute. Back to P.A. Luke and Fragment. 1:21 and 4 3/4. And as they turn for the stretch, it's the undefeated Bojangles leading the way by 2. In behind him is Brandon Boulevard looking for a way out. Show Me Your Ace on the outside. Malillo trying to get a rally going in the center of the track with Al Poppy and Windor up the inside. McClure's calling on Bojangles. Bojangles still leading. Al Poppy closing at him. But Bojangles, the freshman juggernaut, wraps up his rookie campaign a perfect 12 for 12 in 1:48 and 3. It's a new stakes, track, and Canadian record. Bojangles, does he ever get tired?
Bojangles continues a dominant year, 12 for 12 on the year. Had to gut it out. They threw everything at him, and Bojangles gets the victory. Impressive performance. Gabe, Jess, what did you guys see trackside? Wow, from us.
Incredible performance by Bojangles there, Gabe. He had to work for it a bit there in that second quarter with Brandon Boulevard taking the lead there. You don't see that very often. 2-year-old Colt Pacers, just take on heat throughout the entire mile there, but incredible. Stakes, track, and Canadian record.
This is what champions do, Jess. They rise to the occasion. And yes, he didn't have to work hard to make the lead there. You saw the 4, Al Poppy, gun out of the gate, who, by the way, still had pace finishing. He released Brandon Boulevard, then Bob McClure rolled up there. He wanted to be last to the lead, so to speak, with Bojangles, and he steps up and delivers here. They were 3/4, 1:21 and 4. That's the fastest he's ever been to the 3/4 pole in his career. So, he was used very hard there. He had really any excuse to get tired, but you see their last start of the year with that undefeated streak of the line, they put all of their cards on the table here. 12 for 12. Bob McClure calling on him through the lane, but he steps up here and delivers a championship-type performance.
Doc Moore was talking about retiring early on in the season, and then Bojangles came into his barn. He ended up going back to the yearling sales this year to get a couple of more for next year, Gabe, but the longevity of this 2-year-old season, it's the end of October. He's been going since last October, November, I guess, after the Harrisburg sale, but it's a lot on a 2-year-old, and he's continued to handle every step up with ease.
And he's a physical specimen. He's larger than most of his rivals. He just has a great way of going. You see his fluid stride there, and he pins those ears when he gets a lead, and he does not want to get beat. this is a guy, he's a bad boy. Bojangles, this was a remarkable effort with a win tonight, Jess. 12 for 12. How about this? Over $1.5 million he's now banked in his 2-year-old campaign.
Doc Moore doesn't usually like to race him more than 9, maybe 10 starts. He's now 12 for 12.
Yeah, he does like to race him when there's 700,000 on the line. So I think that's why that Bojangles, obviously kept going. And, I know they had high hopes for this colt earlier in the season. I'm not sure they thought, he was going to be an undefeated type freshman campaign. But that's just been the case. He's answered the bell every single time. But again, this is what champions do. And he's really Canada's horse. Locally based here, every start right here at the Woodbine Mohawk Park or Grand River, also in Canada. So really great to see Bob McClure, the driver there, in the bike. He's got a couple of Breeders' Crown wins. He, of course, won with Sylvia Hanover when she was the rival there at 2 and 3 against Twin B Joe Fresh. But he's been a nice, steady customer in the bike.
You know what? I can tell you what, guys. The cheer from the crowd when Bojangles just came back to the winner's circle was unbelievable. He is a true hometown hero.
Wonderful performance there from Bojangles as he just holds off some of those closures that were coming into the end of that race. But impressive performance, and that is the heart of a champion.
Oh, 100%, no doubt. And perfect season, too. So congratulations to all the connections.
Congratulations there to close things out for the 2-year-olds in a big season for Bojangles. And Motocon Legacy, that's another one we're going to talk about because we got plenty more tomorrow. We got to set things up on America's Day at the Races.
We are athletes. We are drivers. We are caretakers. We are owners. We are trainers. We are fans. We are harness racing.
Welcome back here, winner circle time. Oh, there you go. Bojangles. Probably trying to go around again. How about that? All right, Bojangles with the victory for the 2-year-olds in that 1 mile pace there for the Colts and Geldings. An impressive performance, and Bojangles threw everything at him, and he still got the job done.
Yeah, it took a little while for him to clear off the quarter. They played a little hardball with him. Didn't matter at the end of the day as they turned for home right there. You could just see him accelerate off the turn, and he paced away from this group, and Brandon Boulevard couldn't really get through on the inside. Really didn't have much pace left anyway to challenge, and good late run from Al Papi, who actually showed good early pace at the start of the mile and ended up getting shuffled back and then came back on for second. So nice effort from the runners-up, but no doubt about the winner at the end of the day.
And you felt like, you looked at those 2-year-olds tonight, some big performances, and you thought it was quite interesting. You were talking about the 2-year-old filly earlier and Luadipa, and this one here, the 6.
It's been interesting to see if they would have matched up, and see how they would have fared. I mean, I still wonder. I think Bojangles probably would have won, but I think it definitely would have been close. The argument could be made that Luadipa would have definitely given him everything he could handle.
Yannick Gingras there with the driving duties on Al Papi, got the second there to close out that exact nice veteran drive. And you take a look at the results tonight. We saw the big favorites get it done, but we saw some mid-range prices, so it was not a chalk fest on this Friday.
So what was cool about this is in the 2-year-old filly trot with Storybook Love and the 2-year-old Colton Gelding trot with Spencer Hanover, they were both horses that came from off the pace to get the job done, with Storybook Love diving inside to get the job done, Spencer Hanover just getting up late. And in the pace for the fillies and the pace for the Colts and Geldings, you had horses like Luadipa and Bojangles establish themselves early and then be able to draw away and get the job done in the stretches, much the best winner. So it was cool that you had 6 of one and half a dozen of the other to say in some of these races today.
Yeah, plenty of opinions about all the 2-year-olds that were running tonight, and we do have Jenna Otten right now with an interview with winning driver in Bob McClure.
Thanks, guys. Bojangles here sets a new Canadian record. He goes 12 for 12. Just what a sensational animal.
Yeah, that's putting it lightly. He's very special, very, very special. I'm very blessed to be along for the ride with him, and, having so much support here with family and friends. I miss my best friend. He's not here, but, all our best wishes go to him and his mother, but I wish he was here, but we're thinking of Steve.
Towards the beginning of the season, social media popped with this guy who was such a stellar animal on the track. Did you know you had what you had under the hood until tonight?
No, as the year went on, honestly, he just got stronger and smarter, and, as the races got tougher, they seemed to get easier for him, which, the way I felt coming into this race tonight, you shouldn't be able to go into a Breeders' Crown with this much confidence, but I figured unless pending something really negative, I was expecting him to be Bo.
You took some pressure. You took some time to make your way to the front end. Here's you're joined by your son, and then when they got to him at the top of the stretch, he just finds a different gear and digs in.
Yeah, he loves to race. I just didn't want him to get in any trouble, so I let things settle. I knew they were going to race him hard tonight. I knew it wasn't going to be easy fractions and whatnot, but, I also had so much confidence in him. He's got such a set of lungs. He never gets tired, and he, like you said, at the head of the lane when I finally let him go, because he was wanting to go earlier, but I finally let him go. Halfway down the lane, he was looking for more company. He just hangs out there, but he heard horses coming on the outside, and he paced through the wire, through the turn, and he's just such a special horse.
Bojangles goes 12 for 12 at 2. Bob, congratulations on such a significant win.
Thank you.
Come here, Chase. There was driver Bob McClure talking about his performance there on Bojangles, and he knew it was going to be kind of all on the line here tonight, and Bojangles, heart of a champion.
Yeah. And of course, you're going to have a target on your back being the big favorite and being undefeated as well going in. I think one of the cool things to look forward to with horses like Luadipa and Bojangles is, can anyone next season catch up to them? Because we've seen it before. Will they go on to be dominant? Will somebody finally be able to catch them? We've seen it with the Twin B Joe Freshes and Sylvia Hanovers of the world, how they go back and forth at each other. So it's going to be fun to see what lies ahead for this entire group.
looking forward to that. Chris Griffin here, Paul Verderosa, and tomorrow we've got a Saturday night as well. If you enjoyed us here tonight and our entire team, shout out Gabe Pruitt, Jessica Otten, Jenna Otten. We've got more of that great pacing and trotting action tomorrow for our Saturday schedule. It's just jam-packed with those Grade 1 races, and I think it's a good time to find out who Gabe and Jess are really looking forward to, which races they're really looking forward to, and some of those top performers. What do you guys have for us for Saturday?
I don't know if I can specify on what one horse I'm looking forward to, Gabe. I think they were top to bottom an incredible card tomorrow with 8 more championship races on tap. Here's a look back at a Moticon Legacy in that Kentucky Futurity. Gabe parked past the half from post 10 and then turned away all rivals at the end of the mile.
Yeah, get another horse here. Had every excuse to get tired. The tough starting slot there post 10, but he is just going to fend off all challengers. You'll see Maryland, who's going to close late to the center of the track. Super Chapters, a horse who sat on his back. He takes dead aim, and just they could not get past Emoticon Legacy. And he's going to be the favorite, or at least one of the favorites there, in tomorrow's big money final there for the 3-year-old Colt Trotters. That'll go to the 6th race tomorrow night. Really looking forward to that one, Jess. I mean, that is a field of 3-year-olds that have earned just shy of $10 million. So a blockbuster group, but I think it is headlined by Emoticon Legacy, who's been so good here late in the year.
You know, we talk about the 3-year-old trots division, Gabe. There was eliminations for that Hambletonian just a couple of months ago. No eliminations needed for the Breeders' Crown Final. 10 entered into it. So it was an open draw, of course, in the Emoticon Legacy. He's going to get post 4 to navigate with tomorrow night here at Woodbine Mohawk Park. He's another hometown horse, of course, and he's royally bred as well. He comes from the great race mare Emoticon Hanover. She's got a couple of Breeders' Crown wins under her belt as well. And Wallner, a son of Wallner. We know what he did out when he was able to race on the track.
Yeah, he was 2-year-old Breeders' Crown champ as well. And he's got a couple of his rivals there, Super Chapter Maryland. They're both inside him. Yeah. So despite him drawing post 4, he's going to have to try and tackle those 2 Marcus Melander tradies. Both double millionaires right inside of you. Saw him fend them off at the Kentucky Futurity. He'll have to try and do it again with big money on the line here tomorrow night.
Emoticon Legacy won an elimination in the 2-year-old season. Maryland, well, is he going to be able to pick up his first win in the season in the Breeders' Crown Final for a repeat win tomorrow night? Plenty on tap with 8 championship races tomorrow night here at Woodbine Mohawk Park. Back to you guys.
Thanks so much, guys. Yeah, so much to look forward to. And let me give a quick shout out to the bettors and the fans that are watching, because I just checked social media very briefly. A lot of talk about which 2-year-old is the best and kind of going back and forth. And that's what you want, right? I mean, we sit up here on the desk and we want to make sure that there's excitement from our audience that has been joining us throughout the season. But on a night like this, the Breeders' Crown here on a Friday night, it's important to see that the fans are really getting involved. And it's time for them to form their opinions as well, because Lua Deepa had a great performance tonight. We just saw Bojangles, and we saw Spencer Hanover with a top performance. You had a nice selection there with Spencer Hanover. So it's been a jam-packed Friday. There's still one more on the card, a couple more here on the card on a Friday night. Not Breeders' Crown races, but 8 tomorrow. So it's just been a great Friday, but plenty more tomorrow on a Saturday.
Yeah, 100%. And what I love about it is, again, that's what the track is all about, right? Everybody's opinion. What you like, I might not like. Same thing goes for everybody else. And without the fans, without the bettors, man, we'd be nothing, man. So I got nothing but love for them. I'm just like you guys, man. I love to play and I love to be here sharing it all with you guys.
And do you have your top performance of the night already? We can tease it.
I mean, you want me to say Spencer Hanover because that was like my highest priced winner, but Lua Deepa and Bojangles, without a doubt, were great performances. I mean, you can't knock those.
Love it. Still plenty more. There is the paddock as we got a 10th race coming up there at Woodbine Mohawk. It's been a great night. Come on back. We're not done yet on America's Day at the Races.
Once a year, the greatest converge. 12 championship races. Over $7 million on the line. History will be made. Legends will rise. In October 2026, Scioto Downs becomes the venue where speed meets destiny. The Breeders' Crown, harness racing's ultimate showdown. It all comes down to the Breeders' Crown.
The Cup is calling at the Breeders' Cup with Naira Bets. Download the Naira Bets app or sign up at nairabets.com to get a $25 free bet and $200 deposit match bonus today. Watch live horse racing, get expert picks, and boost your bankroll with lucrative promotions. Play the Breeders' Cup World Championships with Naira Bets. New players sign up now to claim your $25 free bet and $200 deposit match only with Naira Bets.
Armitage Farm is an up-and-coming standardbred breeding operation based in Midway, Kentucky, whose primary focus is on trotters. In their first ever consignment at Lexington this fall, Armitage Farm raised and sold the highest priced trotting colt of the entire sale. The Sponstead stable purchased the son of Captain Corey for $750,000, named Jim Doogie Armitage. Armitage Farm, trotting into the future.
The Central Ontario Standardbred Association is working with you to ensure a vibrant horse racing community. Shared stories call for a united voice. That's COSA, representing the interests of horse people racing at Ontario racetracks. So whether you're first, last, or somewhere in between, we've got your back. With insurance, benefits, free lifetime memberships, and more. COSA. Follow our stories on social and check out the process at cosaonline.com.
Back here on America's Day at the races here on FS2. Billy Mares Open coming up here. Not a Breeders' Crown race, but we do have race number 10 coming up. Number 1, talk courteous to me, but where'd you go with your top selection?
Ended up on the number 8 Seclusion in here and made a nice late move in the stretch in her North American debut last time out, which finished only a length behind Turk Curdy to me. She drew the widest post in there, took back and trailed and closed well. So that initial start should get her accustomed to racing here and being here. So I think they're going to be a little bit aggressive with her tonight. And I hope that they just send her right to the front and drive her down the road.
There you go. There's Paul's thoughts there on race number 10. Gabe, Jess, what do you guys think here for tonight's 10?
Well, it's definitely a good overnight event here that we have, Gabe. A good betting board as well. The 6-5 favorite comes from the rail, but you're going to try a horse that gets to start from the outside. That is the 8 Seclusion. A horse who finished up her mile very well last time out, had post 10 taken off of the gate, paced home 26 flat after back-to-back really nice qualifiers here at Mohawk. I think 5-2 on her right now.
Yeah, no, I don't know if misery loves company or if great minds think alike, but I am all in with Paul here at our final race in the program tonight. Jess, I love the 8 Seclusion. Again, was racing in New Zealand. That's where she was bred. She was recently imported. That's a long process. You have to quarantine for a bit, and really it takes a horse a while to get acclimated here over North America, and that's just what Seclusion had to do. She had post 10 in her North American debut here. That was last week. Raced very conservatively, as you may expect, off a lot of missed time, again, for the recent import, and she just sat there. She was last turning for home, but she was absolutely overloaded through the stretch drive, running over top of horses late. Again, 10th turning for home. She finished 4th, beating just 2.5 lengths. I think if she is going to take a step forward tonight, which we typically will see imports do, I think it's her race to lose. Good price here, 5-2. J.R. Plant in the bike, a Canadian-based pilot here for trader Jacques Dupont. I just think we're going to see them take the training wheels off, so to speak, tonight, and I think she could unleash a big performance here in her second start since arriving in North America.
She's exiting a race where a lot of those open mare pacers in the Breeders' Crown tomorrow were using as a prep race for that final tomorrow. Was no elimination last week. Sylvia Hanover, I think she was parked fast a half in that effort. Always Be Naughty came first over. She got the job done in there. So she was facing a really, really good group of horses in that prep race they used the fillies and mares open for that Breeders' Crown final. But yeah, take nothing away from her. She raced phenomenal. She's now 2-1. Horse to her inside 5-1 on Grit and Grace. Jody Jamieson does the driving. She was a winner 2 back till she left aggressively and then sat the pocket. So 2-move win there. A speed at both ends of the mile. She's been pacing over 26 and change.
Yeah, and I think she's a little bit better than that line indicates. If anyone has a program there, they're going to see the 7 Grit and Grace finished 8th here last week. Well, that really doesn't tell the story. The story was she was tracking a horse, that was actually the 6th of this race, who stopped right in her face. So, yeah, she did finish 8th, but let's just call it a complete wipeout turning for home. So I'm just going to disregard that start, Jess. I mean, the 7 Grit and Grace, 11 of 29 this year. She's made nearly $250,000 at the age of 4. That's never an easy transition. You know, when you're 2 and 3, you typically race against your own kind, your own age. When you step up 4-year-olds and above, you know, you race really against some veterans, and it's sometimes just a bit of a tough transition. She has handled it all good this year. Grit and Grace, you get 11 scores on the season so far. And again, the last loss, really not her fault whatsoever.
All the Gabe Pruitt steam coming in on the 8, now 9-5. We'll send it to Jenna to see what her thoughts are on race 10.
I'm going to stick to the rail horse in here. Talk Curdy to me for trainer Dave Maneri. Looks to double up on the program here. Louis Philippe back in the bike here. Tough trip last time out in the Fillies and Mares Open. She had the rail there as well. No gate speed shown then. She got away towards the back of the pack. 8th. She was 8th at the 3/4 pole. She charged home well, finished up her mile excellent. She was 2nd, just beating a length and a half, 40 and 3 mile. Another good draw for this mare to work with here tonight. I'm hoping from the rail for the 2nd week in a row, we can get away a little bit better than 8th. Use a little bit of the gate speed that she's shown in the past that she has had, and to look to cap off the show here and give out a winner. And Talk Curdy to me. Hopefully she can pick up her 4th of the season. Send it back to the guys, see their final thoughts on the open pace tonight.
Final thought here from me that Chad Rosemas had a nice night of calling. He's going to have your 10th race coming up right here. It's that overnight Fillies and Mares Open Race 10.
It kicks off with a field of 9. Fillies and Mares, open pacer, 7-5 on rail starter Talk Curdy to me. Near the outside, Seclusion, very live in her debut here in Canada. She's getting a lot of play. And at 5-1, the 7, Grit and Grace. Field of 9 for the 10th race. They're lined up at the top of the stretch. Here they come. Outside pair going to gap the gate a couple of lengths. Away they go. They're off in pacing and speed from the outside. Grit and Grace along with So Much More and One Last Wish. Into the top 4 is Glenborough. Crossing over for a seat 5th, Angostura Hanover. Parked to the outside is Seclusion. Plant's able to drop in front of Wawa. Talk Curdy to me. Then it's Sorcius Eelster, and at the back of the bus, Caviar and Crackers. Single file field of 9 are lined up early by Jameson and Grit and Grace. She shows the way in front of So Much More after a 26-2 opening quarter. One Last Wish. Pacing along in 3rd for Dunn in front of Glenborough 4th. And Angostura Hanover the 5th one. Seclusion 6th. Talk Curdy to me still with a pair beat Sorcius Eelster and Caviar and Crackers. No movement just yet as Grit and Grace is able to lead them beyond 3/8, showing the way a length on So Much More with One Last Wish, the free-legged pacer in 3rd. Glenborough following her 4th. Angostura Hanover stays in. Plant the first to commit to the outside with Seclusion. She's on the move up to 5th now, 55-4. Half-mile speed, a breather here on top for Grit and Grace. So Much More in 2nd. Seclusion accelerating quickly. She's up to 3rd and soon to be 2nd. And there she is on the outside, just a length away from leader Grit and Grace, with So Much More in the pocket 3rd. Talk Curdy to me getting a nice setup here. Was 2nd over 4th. Locked to the inside 5th is One Last Wish. Hensley's into contention 2 with Caviar and Cracker. Sorcius Eelster follows her. The last 2 are Glenborough and a shuffled Angostura Hanover. 1:23 and 3 3/4. Grit and Grace on top and still pacing hard with a lead of a length. Locked in the pocket is So Much More on the outside of Seclusion. Off that one's cover is Talk Curdy to me. She's all out trying to gain, but Grit and Grace got a nice breather in the 2nd quarter, and that put them to sleep, and she was able to hold on. It's Grit and Grace over Talk Curdy to me and So Much More in 1:50-2.
It was the number 7 in Grit and Grace. Jody Jameson getting the victory there, and was right on the front end and just kept on going.
Yeah, she got an easy lead in there, and that basically sealed the deal for her. She got a better trip than she got last week. It was that simple, and she was able to just walk the dog on the front end. She got there.
Pace makes the races, you always do talk about, and so does the team there, Trackside, but it seemed like just really you heard about that 2nd quarter, caught that breather. Whenever they're able to do that, it makes them very tough through the lane.
Yeah, no doubt, and gave an eyes horse Seclusion, just had to go first over and kind of put the pedal to the metal and just took in too much air out there first over and just kind of got tired in the stretch. It was that simple, and Talk Curdy to me ended up, I do believe, getting up for 2nd in that spot and had that 2nd over trip behind Seclusion.
Nice effort there as you do get the number 7. I think another mid-range price, right? We
7-2.
7-2.
Horse went off at.
Yeah, so we had some of those mid-range prices. Didn't see huge long shots on the night, but you did have some of that mixture. You didn't have a ton of heavy favorites winning, which it is nice to see from a wagering standpoint, but the stars were really shining here this evening, and some of those top performances for you. Anything really stand out? I mean, we kind of teased it a little bit earlier, but did you have a real top performer of the night?
I think Luadipa, by far. I think Luadipa really, proved that she is just the queen of that division. And to such effect, Bojangles as well proved he's the king. I mean, he definitely has the heart of a champion. Did it help that he was in his backyard? Maybe, but it really didn't matter. He just comes out on track, puffs up, and just gets the job done no matter what's thrown at him. So it's going to be fun, as I said, as they move on to their 3-year-old season to see if anybody will pop up or play catch-up with them, because they're going to have to, get their pacing shoes on to do so.
Yeah, some of those same stars that we saw in 2024 for the 2-year-olds, we're going to see them right back here tomorrow night, of course, as they go until the older, and that's going to be Blueprint, who's going to be the headliner. He's at the top of the division. Taking a look at this effort back on September in the Little Brown Jug, and Blueprint continues to be that dominant force.
Yeah, I mean, this race, couldn't have made it any easier for him to get the job done in there. Once he got to the top, it was basically go collect your tickets at that point and give Ronnie Wren his first Little Brown Jug win. So this is a very good field in this spot, and I like his stablemate Sippin' on Sea-Rock in here, and I hope that they can throw down like they did last year with Sippin' on Sea-Rock getting the better of Blueprint. But don't kid yourself. Madden Oaks is a good horse. Captain Optimistic's a good horse. Prince Al Hanover, Dandy Ideal. So you can make a case for quite a few in this spot tomorrow night. So it should be a good matchup if everybody shows up and runs their race.
Really looking forward to all that great action. We saw that here tonight on a Friday. Want to take this moment to thank our team out there at Woodbine Mohawk, Gabe Pruitt, Jessica Otten, Jenna Otten, Trackside, the entire crew that was out there working hard. And, of course, you, Paul Verderosa. Hey, we did a great job here on a Friday night, I think. We hope the fans and bettors come on out and join us tomorrow as well, as we've got more of that great coverage from the Breeders' Crown on a Saturday night. So really looking forward to that. Hopefully you guys can come on out and join us here on this Friday. We saw some of those big 2-year-old performances here, and that was Lua Deepa. She was the headliner, and a big star for Hall of Fame trainer Ron Burke and Ronnie Wren. They got the victory there in the 2-year-old filly pace. And then it was Spencer Hanover coming through the lane there, was weaving in and out, survived an inquiry, got the job done there for Jason Bartlett, the New York guy, here like Paul Verderosa. And then Bojangles finished things off undefeated, 12 for 12, and the top of his division. It was a great night. Come on back tomorrow for a Saturday and more Breeders' Crown.
All sports dynasties share one thing.
Home run! Another world championship!
They dominate.
Bulldog Hanover, then Rocky Road Hanover, Line Drive Hanover, and a Buckabet Hanover. It's Bulldog Hanover, 1:45.4, the fastest mile in harness racing history.
Purchase Hanover yearlings at Harrisburg. Hanover Shoe Farms, a standard bred dynasty.
It doesn't get any better than that. Wow!
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race from every track on every screen every day. Monthly packages starting as low as $5 per month. RTN gives you great value and access to more HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire.
A showcase of the finest 3-year-old trotters in the nation, the Hambletonian Stakes was first contested at the Syracuse Fairgrounds in 1926.
Away from the rest of the field, it is Guy McKinney to win the first Hambletonian.
Named after Risdick's Hambletonian, the father of the American trotter. In 1981, set against the backdrop of New York City, the Meadowlands Racetrack in East Rutherford, New Jersey became the latest and longest-running host venue. The urban stage for the most memorable moments.
And he's pouring it on! Mac Lovell has won! Here's the finish! Too close to call!
Operation Hambletonian complete! It's Muscle Hill, 150-1, equaling the world record!
10 horses, $1 million, and a dream to be the best.